hope to continue their expedition through this competition on a half gangrenous-looking, half icing sugar-coated pitch, cleared by a 150-strong army of volunteers. I doubt it would have been past fit at home. But Chelsea should certainly freeze out this Tromso club of part-timers. A team of students, a journalist in Steiner Nielsen who joined...
Chelsea are not playing the customary 5-3-2 formation, but will probably revert to a 4-4-2 with Newton occupying the holding role in front of the back four. Clearly, the European experience of the Italian contingent will be vital, as will concentration in defence, particularly in the opening 20 minutes.
We had brushes, we had diggers, and we had little local kids clearing the pitch, so that Jacek Granat, the referee, would be happy in time for kickoff. And he checked with the UEFA observer Anders Madsen and Jürgen Feiner of Hamburg, and we were okay to kick off with Chelsea in the lemon yellow, the away strip, so desperate to get this match played. If it goes through and finishes, all goes well. If it is delayed by another snowstorm, and we hope it doesn't happen, then we might have to come back tomorrow at 5 to finish it off. Chelsea immediately looking for Danny Granville, hero of the home leg in the last round against Slovan Bratislava. On by Dennis Wise, just serving a suspension at home. On the left-hand side of the Tromso side, Frode Fairman will get forward and cut in from that side onto his right foot. The pitch is very treacherous and very unpredictable. In some places it's rock hard, and here where Zola is, it's mushy. Up goes the homekeeper, Tor Andre Grenissen, the computer engineer for the local telephone company. He's been monitoring telephone calls at home, no doubt, just to make sure Chelsea aren't picking up too many secrets. Here's the captain, the left fullback, Morten Kramer. Frank Leboeuf was pulled in the air. They play with an orthodox 4-4-2, and that's Rua Christensen, who they describe as a midfield dog of war here. Good to see Eddie Newton back in the Chelsea side after his injury problems. His goal cemented victory at Wembley that took Chelsea to the European Cup Winners' Cup. Steve Clark, recently back in the side. Di Matteo, hero of Europe so far. Fairman blocks. Dennis Wise. We must get this game played, he said. Chelsea have to go to Bolton for that important Premiership match on Sunday. How that one was picked out of the fixture computer, I don't know. They were supposed to get home ties after European travel, like the rest of the Premier clubs in Europe. Here's Fairman. Handle though. Frode Fairman, wearing number 10, 22. He's one of the students in the side. It's the newest and most northerly of universities in Norway, and they train twice a day there. So just the fact they're students, don't think they're not fit. Here's Frank Leboeuf. What a screaming goal he scored at the weekend. Captain. Frode Fairman again. Very orthodox, Tromso. They'll look to get the ball long up to the front men. When they play it out from the back, as Paul was saying earlier, they'll look for the fullbacks to hoist in the diagonal balls. And Fairman will take the free kick himself. He's recently gone back to his student studies. Actually had a year as a full-time professional with the Cercle Club in Bruges. The header away by Dennis Wise, Zola and Di Matteo. Di Matteo, used to playing with snow on the ground, originally from Schaffhausen in Switzerland, and started his football career there. Steve Clark. Granville. Clark again. Strange to see the orange ball. Never looks as if the orange ball rolls properly, Paul, but certainly it does.
Yes, and he looks like he's like a balloon with a load of water in as well, doesn't he?
That's Vialli's little flick-off. Cleared away by Steiner Nielsen, the man who's going to AC Milan at the end of this season. On a trial basis, first of all, Bjorn Johansson seeks the forward. Now here's Christensen, and onside, and danger for Chelsea. Great stop by Ed de Hoy. the back as Tromso looked for Ole Morten Ås, their top scorer, and he should have buried it.
Yes, he should. It was a guilty opportunity. Wonderful build-up play. Looks up wide, delivers it in the circle. He's even got time to take a first touch and forfeit it to De Goey. He comes out quickly at his feet.
Super save by Ed De Goey, yet really to firmly win over the Chelsea supporters despite 7 clean sheets in his first 12 games for the club. He's a fine shot stopper. That's the other of the two forwards being felled, Rune Lange. He scored the winning goal here in the last round, 5 minutes from the end of extra time against Enkre Zagreb. They won 4-2. It's the first time they've been ahead in the tie. A tie that saw 11 goals and some wretched defending. Steinar Nielsen. Leboeuf away. Nielsen again. Rogar, his brother, Sheffield United. Up and running after it is Herman. And the foul given against Dennis Wise. Capacity crowd here, 4,700 this season for European ties. The average here in the league, 3,189. And they'll whip this in for Ås, who's on the penalty spot there, the right-hand side of your picture, or lay it square. Nielsen normally has a crack, and he scores! And Chelsea behind on just 5 minutes. And that is why AC Milan are looking at Steinar Nielsen. 1-0 to Tromso, and what a nightmarish start for Chelsea.
That's a sensational strike. Clearly it's rolled to Nielsen, and to Dennis Wise's credit, he tries to get as close as possible to block it, but clearly it was an exceptional shot. A terrible start for Chelsea.
Steinar Nielsen, 5 goals in the league this season, and that was a real bullet. And he knows Milan are watching him in every single game. He may even get to write about that one. He's a journalist in the local paper here. Part-time. And heading for the big time. What a shock for Chelsea. Now Dennis Wise, who was at least aware of the danger of Nielsen. Zola. The locals very surprised here that Tor Andre Flo wasn't in the Chelsea starting lineup. They haven't got a great deal of height at the centre of their defence, and they worried about him. And Chelsea are under the cosh. Leboeuf. Under pressure from Rune Lange. I don't think you could fault Ed De Goey at all, Paul.
No, I mean, it was a sensational strike, wasn't it? All from probably 25 yards, and there was a lot of bodies in front of him, and credit has really got to go to Nielsen.
Granville may well have been clipped by Ås. Steve Clark, been around a long, long time. Nearly 400 games for the club. Leboeuf looks for Celestine Babayaro. Nielsen away, the goal scorer. Wise. Here against Enkre Zagreb. Zagreb played them off the pitch, really, technically. Here's Vialli to Zola. Zola was checked. The Polish referee didn't notice it. Jacek Granet. They've got 2 big juggernauts up front, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's a clear pattern of play. They want to hit the big men early and get midfield players supporting, but I feel Chelsea, Jonathan, they're passing, they're probing, trying to change the play. They've just got to get the ball forward a lot more quicker and get the midfield men supporting their front too as well.
Babayaro, so highly thought at Chelsea, dragged down. The offender was Svein Morten Johansson, another one of the students in this side. He scored the one of the important goals in the last round to take them to extra time. Zola to take the free kick for Chelsea in his favourite spot for them, in a sand pit tonight though. That's a dreadful patch down there where he took the free kick from. About 4 inches of sand. And that is a problem, Paul. You know, it's not so much the temperature, the wind has dropped. We may have snow later. It's the inconsistency of this pitch.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I inspected it before the game, Jonathan, and that side where Zola took it, I mean, it was disgraceful, and I'm being generously polite.
Gangrenous, I called it earlier on. Eddie Newton. What a night perhaps to play with your back to goal and get it in a situation like that.
That's the pass I was talking about, Jonathan, when they're trying to play through midfield. He was closely marked there, Newton, and that's the ball really, I think, can go to the front man, and then Newton can spin and join and link up.
Hansen will take the free kick. Johnny Hansen. Vialli was the man who gave it away. He's the main man for Europe, Gullit has been saying all season, Vialli. Here's his compatriot, Di Matteo. Leboeuf. Clark. Stick in patches the ball, it'll zip in other patches. Babayaro. And Granville, misunderstanding. Clark. Out by Christensen. Now Orst. Seeking Rune Lange. McCoy knows he can ill afford mistakes as well now that Dimitri Farin is back. Here's Orst, good challenge, Steve Clark. Zola dropping deep. Babayaro, the Nigerian teenager. Granville. Frank Sinclair. He's been playing at right fullback most of the season. 12 years at the club. Not one of the best balls in his time, that. Clark. And Sinclair will have a second chance. Tromso actually face a crucial weekend in their history. They were promoted in 1985, and this weekend they face a relegation playoff against EIK of Tonsbergs over 2 legs. A big weekend of football in Norway. One of the other reasons this game could not be played in Oslo is that the cup final is there this Sunday between Vålerenga and Strømgodset, who you may remember Liverpool beat many years ago by 11 goals to 0. In the 70s that was. Vialli was pushed by Sven Morten Johansson. Leboeuf stepping out as he loves to do. Seeks Vialli. Johansson away. Robin Benson was a sales rep for the local food company. Now Lange. Poor ball. Problem once for him that Bjorn Johansson checked his run. Oh dear. He's dancing. Sinclair. And the mush on the pitch held that up for him. There's Di Matteo. 2 in the middle. Zola took a cannon. And Nielsen away. A few weeks ahead for Steinar Nielsen, the 25-year-old former under-21 international, and scorer of the goal that separates the sides. Looks for Vialli. It's Di Matteo. A little nudge from Celestine Babayaro. Twice Belgian Footballer of the Year, Babayaro. Tor André Grennesen is the 28-year-old first-choice goalkeeper. Been in for more than 10 years. Christensen to the captain, Claymore. Wise. Tackling there with the local hero, Bjorn Johansson. He's the man that Chelsea feared a wee bit. Vialli just dummied it. Was there contact? The referee was right there. If you ever to communicate with the players, Jacek Granat, the referee, he speaks very good English. Robin Benson. And Lange couldn't hold it up. Granville. Out of play. It's a great level of the pitch. They said it before the game, Chelsea, they were worried about it. I mean, let me tell you that Tromso only ever won one European Cup tie in their history, and it came against Zagreb in the previous round. And Chelsea were very, very concerned about the levelling factor of this pitch. Christensen. ways. Foul as he turned. Unhappy with the treatment dished out by Christensen. Just got too tight on Dennis Wise there.
Yes, he did, and a few months ago he put another tackle into Dennis. I mean, they're fiercely competitive in midfield. Clearly they're working hard to stop Chelsea from playing.
Captain heads it away. Morton came out. Saw it coming through the Arctic skies. The bench for the home side occupied by Hakan Sandberg, who'll be delighted with the performance of his side so far. The home coach here is Frank Sinclair. Oh, it came through. Newton's made the run. Vialli. Zola dropped deep. That created the space, perhaps. Babayaro. Granville arriving. Just scooted away from him. That's what we're talking about. One end, it's like shredded wheat that's been left in the bowl too long in the milk, the pitch. And then at the other end, it's like an ice skating rink. Yes,
and it's so unpredictable with the pitch as well, Jonathan. Clearly, it was good approach by Chelsea, but the ball, in normal circumstances, would have been there for the cross inside the box, but unfortunately ran out of play.
Quarter of an hour gone. 1-0 to Tromso. Good challenge by Granville. Now Zola. Granville's outside him. A nice little flick to him. Matteo's attacking the far side of the penalty area, and Newton plops it back in. Away by Nielsen, Christensen and Orst. Neatly played back to him. Now he finds Frode Fairman. Away from Europe, Chelsea have had their problems over the years. They've lost 8 of their 24 European ties, but they've never lost back at the Bridge. So the captain will take this free kick. Morton Claymar. There's contacts during the game. There's the spectacles off the field of play. Here's Dennis Wise. Decoy away. Not too much loft on it, really. Oh dear, that's tight again. Chelsea still playing it around on a pitch that doesn't really want it. And that was perhaps a wee bit marginal. Rune Langer was picked up by Gregor Spirant, the assistant referee from Poland. He's certainly, I think, offside against Frank Leboeuf, but away out of your picture to the left-hand side, he may well have been played on by Danny Granville. Lovely spin. And the ball pushed forward by Jonny Hansen. Di Matteo. And this time it's Chelsea's turn to be caught. Gianluca Vialli, with his 5 goals this season, 4 of them came against Barnsley. Leboeuf's ball. Wise's touch. Zola showing alertness. What happened there, Paul? Did he just miscontrol it, or did it take a nasty little bobble as it came through to him?
No, the ball was like he was just trying to help it on, but certainly Tromso are very organised, aren't they? I mean, they push up when there's pressure on the ball. They're organised, they're functional, and they're working very hard at Chelsea's space. Chelsea clearly technically a better side, but sometimes you've got to modify yourselves to suit the conditions of the pitch, and Tromso are certainly adapting at this moment in time.
They'll have to go on and win this competition to get back into Europe next season. Tromso, they went out of the cup this year, beaten by Sondal in round 3. It was Sondal who won at the weekend to condemn them to the relegation playoffs. They're managed by Truus Jensen, who was here for many years as an assistant coach. It's adding a bit of insult to injury. There's the icing sugar on the pitch down there. Sven Morten Johansson to Steinar Nielsen. Nice little interchange. Here's Bjorn Johansson. Flicked into the path. Here of Fairman. Oh no! What a disaster for Ed de Goey! And this is no joke for Chelsea. 18 minutes gone, and they're being frozen out. The big chill in Tromso. 2-0 to the Norwegian. No hopers, according to the bookies. And this is turning out to be one of the greatest upsets in European club history.
Yes, it was a woeful error by De Gui that originally actually started when Steve Clark, the ball was played into feet to Tromso player. He actually allowed him to turn, and then he was running at him. There was good interplay there, and really, it's hit there, and it was something that De Gui, in all fairness, should have dealt with competently. And okay, there probably was a little bit of an ugly bounce there in front of him.
Well,
but it's a terrible start for Chelsea.
Inside 20 minutes and 2-0 down. Zola away to Babayaro. They need to get back into the tie. Corner kick, good strong running by Babayaro. Only Fairman's second goal of the season. He's just come back to Tromso, as I said, after the period in Belgian football with Cercle. Look at the snow behind the goal. Piled up like a mountain. I reckon they've taken 6.5 tons of snow off this pitch. Should the game have gone ahead? How much did the surface play in Ed de Goi's mistake? Sinclair. Chelsea again, forced on the defensive. Here's Benson. Far post was Orst, the top scorer here this season. He has 9 from the league paltry tally. Mistake by Fairman on this occasion. And then the foul. He was lunging into it. And then a secondary foul. And the captain is cautioned, Morten Kramer. Well, the referee had to do something there, Paul.
Yes, very good decision. It was reckless. It was two-footed. And the referee, no doubt, stamping down his authority.
Both of them stretching. It was a nasty challenge.
But where Chelsea's got to be careful, Jonathan, actually started from Dennis conceding possession there. They're working extremely hard in centre midfield. They're working hard at their space and really stopping Chelsea from enjoying that good possession.
Now Clark. You may hear the local fans shouting AIK. That's the reference. That's like Are You Listening AIK of Tromsø, where they play at the weekend in the relegation playoff. Oh, what a terrible start by Chelsea. Babayaro's foul. Plenty of time, though, to get back into this. Wise. What do you make of the big keeper, Paul? Ed de Goy?
Yeah, he's had his critics, hasn't he? I mean, at times he's shown that he's been a very, very good keeper. Other times he's made errors. And I'm sure, you know, he's got to raise his game. He's an experienced professional. And his strength of character is very important at this moment in time.
Here's Vialli. Tried the expansive spinning ball. Too high for Babayaro. What a long way to come for the travelling 400 Chelsea fans. Top right of your picture. Sitting next to the multicoloured home hordes in their ski jackets. This the home of cross-country and alpine skiing in the north of Norway. Halfway through the first half. And Chelsea on the downward slope at the moment. Let's set her down. Leboeuf makes it his. Now, Jonny Hansen. Orst again, strong running front two. Skips away. Back comes Leboeuf. He's missed that challenge. Header square, not yet away. Drops to Langer. And Orst again. And every loose ball is dropping to either these big juggernauts up front. Ole Morten Orst or Rune Langer. Orst away, off target.
Yes, it was a good pass, actually, in between Frank Sinclair and Leboeuf. And a good play by Orst. He's made a huge impact in this opening 25 minutes of the game, and they're going to have to watch him, the Chelsea rear guard, with caution.
Well, they could have sold this tie out, the locals, twice over, 3 times over. They reckon they could have sold 15,000 tickets. Sold out inside 2 days, and they're loving it. Wise, what a tricky, sticky, mucky, slippy tie for Chelsea tonight. Fabiaro, Granville's gone on in the glue pot. Wise, and away by Fairman. Nielsen with the blockbuster drive on 5 minutes. Fairman on 18 minutes. Of 12 first leg away matches, Chelsea have lost 6 in their European history, but they've overturned first leg defeats in 4 of those 6 ties. Very strong at the bridge. Granville. That's the captain. Kramer, bags of confidence. Morten Kramer, 10 years in the first team. Prolific goal scorer in that time from defence. He has the 2 in 10 years of football. Lange this time is pulled up. I think he's pointing to his teeth there. He started the game with a full set, and I think he's got a gap there now, Lange, actually. Whether he's lost a full set, I'm not too sure. But he certainly looked across to his strike partner, Orst. Here's Zola. Di Matteo. Good run by him. Jonny Hansen covers. And that rather sums up Chelsea's night so far. Not a night for Roberto Di Matteo, perhaps. Rumble like thunder around the ground as fans stamp on the wooden terracing. That's Johansson. Leboeuf, dangerous ball through. They're playing out of their skins here. They haven't played football like this all season. Granville. That's Steinar Nielsen's clearance to Stein Morten Johansson. Nielsen again. And Clark's underneath this one. Lange just lent into him. Should Chelsea have gone into this game with a 4 at the back, Paul? Should they have gone into this game with a 5 at the back?
Well, we're talking earlier on today, Jonathan, and I was always very of the threat of the 2 big men up front. And I always felt with possibly 2 markers and Leboeuf for spare, that second ball, which they've been quite dominant in the opening spell of the game, possibly would have been nullified.
They have the men here to have made a 5. Petrescu, Lombard, Myers, all could have fitted in there somewhere. Here's Rune Lange, hero of the last round. Danger again on the edge of the penalty area. They're getting men forward there, and the Chelsea midfield aren't picking up those runs from deep. It was Fairman again. Zola showing too much of it, perhaps. Fabiaro, now Christensen, offside. It's a risky old game to play.
Very close, that, Jonathan. Actually pushed up. There was no pressure on the ball, and I'd probably say there was a yard or 2 in it. But what Chelsea, they've conceded possession too cheap in the centre of midfield, and I think that's the area where Tromso, at this point in the game, have looked very, very confident and influential.
The long nights have begun in northern Norway. And what a way to celebrate the coming of the Northern Lights, which they do here, the long Northern Nights, because they love the skiing and the snow, with a win over high-class English opposition. And of course, they know all about English opposition here because they watch the game every single week. They love English football. Vialli, poor ball. It's Orst. Lange's out there. Orst pushing on forward. Benson arriving on the edge of the penalty area. He was the target. Now Bjorn Johansson. Leboeuf away. And your mind goes back to games like the cup tie-up at Leicester last season when Chelsea fell apart under an aerial bombardment in the second half. Wimbledon at home when they were uncomfortable. And they now look for Zola. Kicked inside by Stein Morten Johansson and away again. A stumble by Granville. Orst. Kramer, the captain. comes that diagonal ball, they play from wide on the touchline. So no one was on the end of that one. Orst allowed to come and gather. Chelsea don't mind him sticking back in there, in the middle third. Wise might have been obscured by the referee. Bjorn Johansson. Christensen's cross. Langner almost on the end of it. Now Babayaro. And Dennis Wise. A dreadful pitch. You wouldn't play park football on this in England, I'm sure. Wise. Vialli's made the run, he's offside. Wise had to check. Di Matteo. Zola's waiting in the middle. So too, Steinar Nilsson. And that could be a mistake by the captain. I don't know what he thought he was doing there. He was being too cutesy, Paul, I think, the captain.
Yes, very casual. But at least Chelsea progressive now, trying to work the ball, get it wide and try and get in behind the Tromso rearguard and make something happen.
So, in the land of the Troll, Dennis Wise will take the corner kick. Vialli's pulled away to the far post. Granville arrives. That's sound and confident goalkeeping. And this is a man who regularly flaps it across, but not on that occasion.
Now he's giving his defence a lot of confidence. Very dominant, very confident.
Eddie Newton. All mistakers again. The two combined and clashed. Offside against Zola. It was Jonny Hansen and the captain, Kramer, who banged into each other and nearly let little Zola away. Under a quarter of an hour to go in the first half. Chelsea didn't foresee a 2-0 deficit. I don't think anyone did. Babayaro. Granville. Conceded 3 away from home in the first round, did Tromso at Zagreb. 3-0 down after 50 minutes, in fact. Clark for Chelsea has Granville away to the left. Here's Zola. Babayaro back to the little Italian from Sardinia. Hotter climbs than this, that's for sure. Danny Granville. And Zola, pursued by Svein Morten Johansson. Challenge came flying in by Benson. Bjorn Johansson. Clark cut out that ball through the channel. Bjorn Johansson. Well, when Chelsea leave later on tomorrow, this man will be the man they check in with at the airport. And at the moment, he'll have a big smile on the face. Sinclair, well played, rather Luca Vialli. This is a steady patch for them, Paul.
Yeah, they've enjoyed periods of good pressure, but there's been no end product.
Clark looks for Zola, up close Jonny Hansen and Eddie Newton. Leboeuf. European experience with Strasbourg. Was runner-up in the Intertoto Cup of '95. Has to play out from defence. Vialli was just offside. Luca Vialli has won every European competition there is to be won. One of 4 players to have done that. He's off and running again. He was offside, though Steinar Nilsson was tracking back in the middle. Once a world record £11 million. Took him to Juventus from Sampdoria. The temperature is dropping. I just wonder if the pitch will get skiddier. Through to Fairman. Score of the second goal. Jockeyed well by Frank Sinclair. Oh, a bit cash at the end of it though, Paul, wasn't he? Just turned his back on it. Di Matteo away. Hansen was up well. Kramer, Christensen. Do you think they'll do that now from range wherever they are? Perhaps they suspect Ed de Goy on a night like this?
Well, they're a very, very confident side, aren't they? They're working extremely hard. Collectively, I think they're stronger in Chelsea. And clearly after the error by de Goy, they're shooting from range at every opportunity.
Nice flick off by Orst. Spain, Morten Johansson. Offside against Benson. And again, it was close.
I thought that was very close indeed, Jonathan. At the point where the ball was played, Leboeuf was actually, I thought, playing Tromso onside.
Caballero's around the back. First time in, looking for Vialli. Maybe pushed his man, did he? He did, yeah. The referee close up with the play. And Luca Vialli, nothing going right for him at the moment.
Yeah, that was a ball that was whipped in. Yeah, and there's a nudge there. But to his credit, Vialli, he's not had a run of the ball. But he's working extremely hard.
750 miles north of Oslo. 210 miles inside the Arctic Circle. It's a chilly night, and Chelsea are behind. Orst. Jon Johansson to Svein Morten Johansson. On by Bjorn Johansson. Let's put Robin Brent Berntsen on the right. Sales representative with a local food company. And Danny Granville pushes it away.
That's the area. In fact, when that ball was originally played in, I saw Graham Brooks jump off the bench there, Jonathan, because he's saying, get tight. The lad was allowed to get the ball turned and actually go at Chelsea, which really, in that part of the field, they've got to get tight and allow the player to play the ball square or backwards.
A free kick now. There's Babayaro wearing that thermal gear underneath his Chelsea yellow, backs away. Danger from Svein Morten Johansson. Corner kick only. Off Steve Clark. They're certainly more direct than Chelsea are on a surface like this, Paul.
Well, they're playing to their strengths, aren't they? They haven't got the technique Chelsea has got, but they're very direct, playing it from long to front. We've got the big men there, competing and helping things on in the last third of the field, and clearly playing to the right conditions as well.
Hit Steve Clark, that really. Their first corner of the night. It's not cleared away. And it was from a situation like that they got the winner in the last round. That's better, Chelsea. Now Vialli. Zola with a scissors movement. Wise is arriving. Any minute now. At the top of your picture, here he is. Vialli's made the forward run. He's onside. Zola is square. The pullback called for. And he just slithers through that slippery mess and got it away to Andre Glenison. Chelsea's best chance so far.
Yeah, it's the most productive move going forward. It was Vialli that started the move, and it was a super cutback. And the keeper, Grenison, just forces the ball out, and unfortunately there wasn't additional support getting forward in the box.
That's away by Leboeuf. How much have they missed Dan Petrescu wide on the right-hand side, Chelsea, resting him to the bench?
I think they do, because also when you get in those wide positions, Jonathan, you need that quality to get the ball into the box, and Di Matteo has worked extremely hard, but I don't think he's a natural wide right type of player. He likes to play more central in midfield.
This time the decision goes Frank Leboeuf's way against Ole Morten Orst. Another student. Scored in both legs against Zagreb. Actually, 2-1 down here as well. With just 15 minutes to go. They won the game 4-2. They're very hard-working and they're very tenacious, our Tromso. there's the coach, Håkan Sundberg. He says he'll be staying here even if they do get relegated after the two-leg playoff. Bjorn Johansson. Benson again. Shown up well in the last 10 minutes on this right. De Hoy comes and gathers. Covers up well, this time in defence, Benson. Would have meant a lot more money if they'd have taken Chelsea and Frank Sinclair down to Oslo this week. They'd have had a 25,000 capacity crowd down there. But it is Cup final weekend and they chose to play it up here anyway. Clark to Granville. Zola wearing the gloves against the cold. It's now around about -3, -4. Vialli's offside. Gianluca Vialli, used to playing early on in his career, 70s, 80s, 95% humidity. In Genoa in particular, at Sampa, very humid place, and to come up here, -4, -5. It's a culture shock. It's a shock, all right. How do you play, Paul, against big strikers like this if you're not as tall as them? Do you jump early? Do you get in up underneath them?
Well, what you really got to do from Chelsea's point of view is play slightly one in front and one behind, because at times the ball's sitting up there and you've really just got to get as close as you can and just keep your eye on the ball. But what I'd like to see when they're playing those free kicks, I'd like to see maybe the holding man Eddie Newton just sitting in front. There's a bit of a shield, a bit of a protective barrier there, Jonathan, and that gives the central defender time to drop up a few yards and go and attack the ball.
Frank Leboeuf, who will probably be the first to admit that the aerial game is not his strength. What a wonderful player he is on the deck. Svein Morten Johansson. There is Eddie Newton spilling it on. Oh, unlucky. Showing the hunger, though, we've come to expect from Luca Vialli. He's pointing down at that red line. The line's red tonight. He thought it was still in play. I saw the groundsman about an hour before kickoff coming out. There's the red ball on the red line. It's actually sort of a powder he put down and then got a spray out and sprayed the powder in place. That's why he's not too happy with the performance of Langa. It really was little and large. He did definitely make contact, I think. And Langa's okay. 4 goals this season, Langa, in league football. This time they look for his strike partner, Orst. Di Matteo to Wise. And Sinclair. They could move Sinclair into a centre-half position in the second half. He does have a very, very good leap on him. He leaps like a salmon. Bjorn Johansson. Christensen. Danger again here. Furman is through. And the drive was wretched by Langa.
That was a gilt-edged opportunity, wasn't it? I think Granville put his hands up trying to play offside, and the amount of space he got there, I mean, he's just been helped on there. And really, the Chelsea rearguard have been ball watching there, Jonathan, to be quite honest with you. He's got a lot of space there.
Lapland's not far away across the border. Santa Claus lives there. And the presents are coming a wee bit early here for Chelsea's liking. Wise. Down by Zola. Looks for Vialli. I wonder if the frustrations are now beginning to simmer up. There's Jonny Hansen in there. Actually seemed to grab him around the face there, and that was a reluctant peace treaty He thinks his eye was gouged. Now Zola. Kramer slipped quickly to his feet. Di Matteo. And the captain atoned for his slip. Fairman. And it's a Chelsea throw-in. Into the last half a minute of the first half. Lost to Thurman. Through to Fairman, takes on Frank Sinclair. Well in, Frank Leboeuf, read it well. Wise. Chelsea is scampering and covering the ground with short passing movements, and Tromso is so much more direct. And Leboeuf has checked his man. Ollie Morton did he? No. The referee says the Norwegian went to deck after an innocent collision. A fairly, well, ugly touch on it, I should say, from Steinar Nielsen to the end of the first half, which started so magnificently for him with a superb drive after 5 minutes that put Tromso 1-0 up. And on 18 minutes, it got even worse for Ed de Goey and Chelsea, as Frode Fairman rattled in the second. It slithered under Ed de Goey on a nightmarishly treacherous pitch in northern Norway. And Chelsea go in at half-time 2-0 down.
Yes, and I'm sure Ruud Gullit will have to work very hard at his team talk, because clearly after a disastrous start, I spoke about the first 20 minutes at the top, Jonathan have conceded 2 goals and they've got a lot of work to do, and let's hope they can get back into the game very quickly.
They don't look very happy. They're not confident about the pitch. They need to get over that mentally for the second half, because it's Tromso 2, Chelsea 0.
Straight to the Tromso's Alfheim ground. Chelsea trailing by 2-0. The second half about to get underway. Your commentators Paul Elliott and Jonathan Pearce.
And it will be Tromso who get us off and underway in this second half in those red and white striped shirts with the darker red yolks and white shorts. Chelsea all in yellow, and Mark Hughes, wearing 10, is on the field of play. An important half-time substitution for Danny Granville, which will mean that Chelsea will push Babayaro back to a back 4, I would imagine, and Zola just behind Hughes and Vialli up front. The pitch covered in snow. It has been thick and furious at half-time, and the ground staff was out scratching away so that we could see the lines. And immediately, Tromso go for the spectacular with Steinar Nielsen, who scored the opening goal, and trying to get Tromso's third of the night beyond the form of Ed de Goey, you can just pick out there in the gathering gloom. The referee must at all times be able to see his 2 assistants, and we just wondered when we started the night whether we would finish it. Here's Hughes, back to back to Wise in midfield. It's away then by Sven Morten Johansson. Underneath that one is Frank Leboeuf. And here's the captain, Kramer, chipping forward, seeks Lange. Ed de Goey comes out of the snow and finds Frank Sinclair. They used brushes at half-time, and indeed an industrial hoover in one area to clear the lines. And Mark Hughes already making his presence felt. Well, Paul, he came on last season against Liverpool in the Cup and turned the entire tie around.
Yes, he done. He's an extremely talented man, and in actual fact, Jonathan, we were discussing when I felt you could have probably done with Mark Hughes from the start. His ability to hold up the ball, his strength, his competitive nature certainly would have unsettled the 2 centre-backs. But it's important that Chelsea focus and concentrate and don't concede early. You know, they're still in the tie as far as I'm concerned. They can get one early, and all of a sudden that does change the game.
Kramer's free kick. Clark's underneath it. And so too was Rune Lange and Ors, the 2 target men. Lange was the man judged to have fouled. Well, at least we can see that. Rua Christensen. Horst looks for Langer. There's Bjorn Johansson, Christensen, Eddie Newton. The players wore long studs before the game. They couldn't trust moulded rubbers or indeed trainers because of the treacherous surface. I wonder if many of them would have changed at half-time. What do you reckon, Paul?
It's a good point, Jonathan. I just wonder as the game goes on, it's clearly -3, -4. Is it going to get much harder underneath? And obviously with studs, you're going to have clearly problems controlling your balance.
Well, I can't ever remember Chelsea Football Club having to play a European tie in conditions like this. When they won this particular competition, they had to wait 24 hours because of fog in Athens before they were allowed to go on and win it in 1971. I seem to remember, was that the final or was that earlier on in the competition? I remember one of their games was off because of fog, but nothing like this. That's Rua Christensen and Bjorn Johansson. And if it's difficult for us to see the players, it must be nigh on impossible for the fans out there. Because what you're seeing with the benefit of high-tech TV technology. Mark Hughes. Celestine Babayaro with the throw. Chelsea must put all this out of their minds. Looks for Hughes. Again, can't keep his feet. Sinclair, back to De Hoy, and they are starting to slide now. And the Polish referee will be keeping a close eye on this. Clark forward. Svein, or rather it was Jonny Hansen who got it away. And the chase now between Babayaro out there and Benson. Zola drops deep. Steve Clark. I don't know whether it was Mark Hughes they needed at half-time or Torvin and Dean. There's Bjorn Johansson. Strong run. Into the path here. Through to Fairman. Sinclair got back. Another mistake by the goalkeeper under pressure. LeBoeuf stabs it out. Di Matteo behind Dennis Wise. Should they bring on Tor Andre Flo and just lump it and hump it? Di Matteo gave away the free kick against Olli Norst. Just got across his knee and dragged, well, almost lent into the challenge as he went down. It's a blizzard. Steinar Nilsson, who got the first goal. And Ed De Hoy got down to it. It's funny, actually on the way over here yesterday, Paul, you were saying for a big man, he does get down to the ball well. He flaps at crosses.
Yes.
Until tonight when he was beaten by that second.
Yeah. And let's hope he can get that out of his head. But what was interesting, the fact that when that was drilled in that last effort, you notice the two frontmen, Spen and Join, front straight away, trying to anticipate if he does make an error, they're right on top of it.
Well, the visibility just marginally improving over the last minute. If the referee can't see the goals, he can't see his linesmen, his assistant referees, he would certainly think about abandoning this. And Chelsea have asked him really to make sure if he takes the players off, not to make a hasty decision because they are so desperately keen to get this game played. They don't want to wait around and play it again tomorrow. On the other hand, 2-0 down. Here's Zola. Gets away from Rua Christensen and Wise as Hughes outside him. Di Matteo will find him now via the deflection. Mark Hughes. Now Ors looks for Langer. Well, this could be curtains. Langer beyond the
super play. It was a glorious ball in, and I felt, Jonathan, when I saw De Gouy going there, I thought, my dear, what's going to happen there? And what a ball whipped in. That's a super ball. Neither Chelsea player got a touch.
Well, the referee thinks that one of them did, and Rune Lange has forced a corner kick. It's their second of the night, and it'll be Rua Christensen. De Gouy punches. Another corner kick. Steve Clark, salt and pepper hair colouring in there now with the snow. De Gouy comes a long way. Zola's on the end of that but won't keep it in play. Eddie Newton trying to clear his lines. He could always just, the referee, bring things to a temporary halt to clear the lines again. You cannot see the edge of the penalty area now. Well, this is farce. Leboeuf away. You cannot see the penalty area. Look at that. You can't see the dead ball line. And Ruud Gullit, down on the Chelsea bench, is asking the fourth official to clear the lines so that Chelsea can see things more clearly. Ruud Gullit talking to Miroslav Trečka from Poland. That should be away by Di Matteo and is. Now Zola. Zola being pursued. Like a pack of huskies, they're after him. And the snowbound wastes of northern Norway. Has he ever seen anything like this? I very, very much doubt it. This is pure farce now. The tide will not hinge on tonight, but Chelsea could be in a devastatingly poor position at the end of it if it goes on like this. Clark to Leboeuf. Drills out wide, lovely ball, the best of the night. Can Sinclair keep it in and cross? And does well. Vialli turns. Just has not been his night, Gianluca Vialli. That's the best ball of the night, though. Now Frederik Fairman. And Leboeuf simply happy to squeeze it out anywhere. Babayara, who's looked uncomfortable. Sven Morten Johansson. Bjorn Johansson. They knew he was going to be a tricky customer, and he looks to have good balance, actually, Bjorn Johansson.
He's been very good, in fact. Has really influenced the game and has been a constant threat in Chelsea's thorn.
Meanwhile, on that Chelsea bench, Ruud Gullit is fuming. And you can understand it because, well, the halfway line's gone, it's there. But the referee's standing on the halfway line. Furman's low ball in. And Ed De Gouy comes and gathers. You can just about make out the D there. That's the fourth official, Miroslav Trečka. He's calling the referee eventually across to him now. The ball is out of play. And I wonder if a message has gone down there from Jürgen Wehlner, the UEFA delegate from Hamburg. Ruud Gullit is asking him at least to clear the lines. Well, we're used to the sweeper system in Europe. And that's putting a different slant on it.
The reason why, I wonder why he's taking so long to do it, because for the last 10 minutes, Gullit's been remonstrating with the official.
I don't think you can leave players on in this cold now,
no,
Paul.
They've got to come. I mean, Jonathan, what is it, -5 now as we're talking?
Should the game have started? They were under pressure to play it tonight. They knew it had to be played either tonight or tomorrow. Should it have started, Paul?
I think not. And also, as I'm looking at the referee, Jonathan, he looks very, very positive, the referee. He clearly wants to play the game and finish it.
Well, there's a whole army of ground staff on the field of play. It's a night for fur hats and a night for perplexed looks. And a night of joy so far for the Tromso bench, who want it finished, of course. Look at the snow. Well, get your camera out, Paul. Take a couple of snapshots. We'll sell them as Chelsea Football Club Christmas cards and make a fortune. I wonder if the chairman's had that idea and already done it on the far side. Dennis Wise. You get lost in a minute. It's coming in now with wind, and we haven't had wind here all day. And the chill factor last night took it down to a flesh-numbing -8 degrees. He stopped his watch, we've stopped our watches at 56 minutes into the game. The stadium watch is still ticking over. The reason we know that is because we're in the official timekeeper's hut. And we're off and underway again. For how long? Away by the captain of Tromso, leading 2-0, Morten Kramer. Rune Lange, it's sold short. Here he is again, Lange, and that could have finished the tie. They've had chances, really, to go into an unassailable lead.
Without a doubt, I mean, territorially, they've had the greater advantages, and what they actually do well, Jonathan, when Chelsea tried to play it from midfield, they push right up on top of them and then nicking it. Those short little balls that Chelsea are playing into midfield, Christensen and Johansson, they really get close to them, and that really leaves them 20 yards from goal, and you just can't afford to make those errors in the last third of the field.
Here's Dennis Wise now for Chelsea. Was fouled by Fairman. I mean, be honest, all of you out there, if you were playing for your school or your club or your pub or your Sunday team, if it came down like this, especially Sunday mornings, it'd be off and back to the rubber dub, wouldn't it? Here's a free kick for Chelsea, though. Go on at the Franco Zola. From way out. He'll leave it for LeBeuf. He struck it well, but wide. A night for gloves as well, Frank LeBeuf. Didn't strike a bad ball there, Paul.
No, he hit it well.
Really, it's the only effort I can remember from Chelsea on the goal, in the whole game.
Well, to be fair, they don't even hit the target, have they?
Away by Rua Christensen. Bjorn Johansson was checked by Babayaro. No free kick given. And this, they say here, is not bad weather. The bad weather arrives on Saturday, they tell us. And the real snow arrives in November. Fancy weekend break in Tromso. Well, mind you, having said that, we'll probably still be here on Sunday trying to finish the game.
I won't be, Jonathan. I don't know about you.
LeBeuf goes with him. You've got to feel for the players on a night like this. Here's Celestine Babayaro to Eddie Newton. Again, Chelsea pushing and prompting, and again caught by Fairman. Challenged by Eddie Newton was unfair. Oh dear. And now Dennis Wise has been pushed to the ground by Bjorn Johansson. And the referee will call both of them together. This was the foul. Eddie Newton in hard on Rua Christensen.
Dennis has gone in late, Jonathan, but really, as the point I said before, that originally come from that little short pass into midfield. I just feel Chelsea are not adapting themselves to the conditions. How on earth they're still trying to play those short little passes through midfield, and you know, Tromso, they're just squeezing right up on top of them and being competitive and aggressive and winning the ball and just breaking forward. And it's clearly been a constant problem to Chelsea throughout this match.
They're in 22 with his back towards us is Jonny Hansen. It's going to be Steinar Nielsen to float it forward. The penalty box lines again being obscure. Good turn here by Mark Hughes. Zola. Chelsea look to have better balance in the second half at least. Matteo. Newton to Babayaro. Hughes is on the end of that. Steinar Nielsen away. He will have impressed the watching Milanese camp. That's a lovely flick off by Lange. Away towards Robin Benson. And Ollimot Norst. Surely won't go for a goal from all the way out there. Frank Leboeuf didn't win it when well positioned. Horst has kept his feet well. Rua Christensen. And now that's a free kick given away by Babayaro. Clark thinks it was unintentional.
That's very good play by the big man, doesn't he? He wriggles his way through then, a square ball. And Christensen comes onto it, runs with it well, and it's a great effort. And what Chelsea got to do is to get out and get a blocker out and close him down. You can't afford for him to hit it from 20 yards.
Well, the goalkeeper atoning for his earlier error, perhaps. This free kick is around about an average snowball size outside the penalty box. You'll have to believe me. So do Chelsea hope for a whiteout tonight, an abandonment, and come back tomorrow and start all over again at 0-0. Shot hit the wall from Nielsen. We know how hard he can hit them. It's settling so quickly. Where's Roald Amundsen when you need him? Here's Vialli. Leboeuf sprays it out wide to Frank Sinclair. Just over the hour gone. Zola. Marcuse took a tumble off the ball, and Vialli has barged into Steinar Nielsen. That was all off the ball, and Marcuse was tumbled then as he went through the middle. There was definite contact made. That's offside against Langer. There's activity also down on the Tromso bench. Thomas Hufstad down there, who is waiting to come on now. And a substitution will be made as soon as they can attract the referee's notice. And the man who will go off is Bjorn Johansson, who's clearly feeling the effects of that challenge a few moments ago. Johansson off and Hufstad on. Leboeuf. Marcuse comes from a way off it. Now Sinclair, it bounced against his arm. The locals want a free kick. Leboeuf away. Vialli. Marcuse. That's better, Chelsea. Di Matteo. Here's Hughes. Holding on to it. Holding his feet, even though others were slithering. Clark away. Zola. Paul, have you ever seen anything like this? We'll come to you in a couple of seconds, because that's Jonny Hansen and Babayaro's underneath it. Only 18. He certainly won't have seen anything like this, I wouldn't imagine. They don't often get snow in Nigeria, and his years in European football have not been long. Celestine Babayaro, though he went to Belgium as a 15-year-old, he's only 18 now. Clark will get it away. Have you ever seen anything like this, Paul?
I certainly haven't. I spent a couple of my years in Scotland playing with Celtic, and it was a wonderful 2 years, but even there it's so cold at various times. But this is just absolute treacherous conditions.
Wise forward. Same for both sides, though. Tromso have certainly adapted the better. Not even the most ardent Chelsea fan could argue with that. That's good control, you see, by Langer. And you think he's 6'3". Away by Clark. Leboeuf. Snow swirling around. Wiggle it once the lines. Brushed again. Kramer with the throw-in. What for Kramer? Over 280 games for this club. Very experienced. Free kick given against Sinclair. I think For a push in the back. It's only a throw-in, in fact. I thought it might have been given for a push in the back on Langer. Kramer. Wise was in there, still hungry and competitive and tenacious. Dennis Wise to Zola. Perhaps now it's a time for the players with a low centre of balance. To Di Matteo. Hughes is straight offside. Di Matteo into the path of Zola. Zola goes for goal! And just wide.
That was wonderful individual skill, wasn't it? The move was started by Zola, and very, very unfortunate. A lovely ball laid in the path and teed up nicely for Zola, and it just goes wide. But it's a good Chelsea move, and I'm sure they can take confidence from that.
Gianfranco Zola looking for his third goal of the season for Chelsea, has the 2, and another substitution to be made by Tromso. Off goes Frode Fairman, scorer of the second goal. On comes Ulrich Barling. Barling, who's taken the field of play, is a midfielder in his first season at the club. Came on Sunday in the 4-0 defeat at Lund of Oslo, which condemned them to the playoffs, and that defeat was watched by a staggering crowd of 911, let me tell you. He's worked hard up front. The two of them have, haven't they, Austin Langer?
They've played very, very well. Their strength, their height has caused a lot of problems.
Now it's Roa Christensen. Ooh, it wasn't far wide. And again, the big Ed de Hoy was just troubled by the surface. Christensen wide. They've had 10 attempts on goal. The referee is coming across towards the near touchline to have a word with the UEFA official again. The fourth official, I should say. That's Jacek Granat, the referee, and he's stopping the watch again, I think, to get the touchline swept. Or is he? He signalled to the ground staff. They've made a signal to the ground staff to get the touchlines brushed. And they're very slow to do this at the moment, down on this near touchline. In fact, Ed de Hoy peering out into the snow. The ground staff themselves have reacted the quickest. And certainly they realised what was going on before the referee.
He's a very stubborn old referee, Jonathan, isn't he?
Dennis Wise has a wry smile on his face. What do Chelsea want, Paul? Do they want this game abandoned now and come back tomorrow and play it again?
Well, what's the conditions going to be like tomorrow, Jonathan? As far as I'm concerned, it isn't going to get any much better. And as we approach the end of the week, it's only going to get more colder.
If it isn't played tomorrow, by the way, or finished tonight or tomorrow, whichever way you look at it, then it goes back to UEFA headquarters for a decision to be made. Chelsea have to go to Bolton on Sunday, and the relegation playoff match has to be played here on Sunday. The next option would be that the original second leg, Chelsea's home tie, becomes the first leg, and then Chelsea come back out to Norway a couple of weeks or even a month later, when the next round of European matches are taking place, the next round of the UEFA Cup and Champions League matches. It could be even early December, and that match would then be played at Oslo. And there's Nanook of the North.
I just think now the players, Jonathan, it's just a bit of a mental thing now. They've got to show to continue that right attitude, apply themselves and keep competing and hope they can just get a goal back. As far as I'm concerned, that will change the course of the game.
I think the worst conditions Chelsea Football Club have ever had to endure. Up goes Newton to flick it off. Now Hughes. Bustling. Jonny Hansen. Away towards Barling. The fresh pair of legs, the substitute. Good tackle, Frank Sinclair. Shirt being tugged all over the shot ref. It's a problem, actually, also for Chelsea, who would normally play in yellow up at Bolton on Sunday. What happens with the kit if they have to play here? I know that's troubled their the kit staff down there. Eddie Newton's challenge. They're not in any hurry to take this. Big Ollie Norse just trotting away out of your picture to the left-hand side. Kramer will take the free kick now. Set it up on a little snowman. Langer chases. Clark's gone with him and he got the header in. He was always giving Steve Clark problems there from the moment he took off, and Steve Clark slid it on the turn in the snow.
Yes, a long diagonal ball right into the heart of Chelsea's defence. And unfortunately, there wasn't no advanced player from Tromso that was going to get it forward and get beyond him in the box, because it comes right across and De Goey holds on to it well.
Ed De Goey, what a night for goalkeepers. Babayaro. There's Vialli. Di Matteo. Zola waiting in the middle. Nothing has gone right for Luca Vialli all night.
To his credit though, Jonathan, I think he's been very industrious in his work for the team now.
Eddie Newton's under that. It's just turned in the air. Langer's worked so hard. Free kick by Lavelle. Zola's in the end of it. Zola still carrying. Lemmy Hansen's gone with him. There's the snowplow turn. Corner kick.
Sensational bit of skill from Zola, wasn't it? That low sense of gravity will always favour somebody like him with his quick feet and ability to work the ball under pressure.
Hughes waits in the middle. Vialli's round the back. Oh, disappointing corner. "20 minutes to go after the two stoppages, and the official UEFA line on this match is they will keep it going as long as possible, even if it takes more breaks to scratch away and clear the lines. They'll keep this going. And barling away now for Tromso. In towards Langer, looks for Orst. Babayaro gets back at him. And eventually Clark away. Rua Christensen looks for Orst again and fouls Babayaro. Really, I wonder how much Chelsea's insistence on this game being played tonight has played a part in this, ironically, because they definitely said to the referee, don't make hasty decisions. Yeah, you can just see the challenge there by Orst on Celestine Babayaro. Here's Clark. Away by Steinar Nielsen. Orst. Dennis Wise. Beyond Barling, now Vialli. A night for moon boots, not football boots. That's well weighted by Eddie Newton. Wise. Well, when he's had to do something, so Andre Grenissen has foiled that man's side. Good Hullitz. Again, the man he's talking to there is Jürgen Werner, the UEFA delegate from Hamburg, who's down talking with both sets of officials now, because Håkan Sandberg, the Tromso manager, has joined in as well. Zola for Chelsea. Vialli's away to his right-hand side. Hughes was offside. Had to look out right for Vialli. Nothing came of it again. Langer chases. And De Goey got there.
That's well played by Langer. He's worked extremely hard, hasn't he, Jonathan? I mean, that ball into the channel, over the fullback shoulder, and he forces De Goey off his line.
That's a good burst by Hofstedt to the edge of the penalty area. Trouble is, you don't know what's underneath the snow as a player out there. Is it sand in one patch? Is it muck and mud in another patch? Or is it rock hard? LeBoeuf away. They'll drive it back in for Langer. De Goey comes! And he has had a nightmarish evening. The big Chelsea goalkeeper, and you have to feel for him on a night like this.
Yes, that's a super ball whipped in, isn't it? And really, the goalkeeper has got to be authoritative there. He's got to come and get it. And clearly, Langer has really imposed himself this evening.
Ooh, that was a stretching challenge, and Babayaro is down. And these are anxious moments for Chelsea. Has the left side jinx it again? Poyet out for the rest of the season. Graham Rousseau out for certainly the next few weeks. And Babayaro stretching into that, felt the full force. It has been a miserable night for Chelsea and all associated with the club so far. And yet they're still in there with a quarter of an hour to go. In this staccato stop-start snow scene. Steve Clark's free kick. Vialli and Hughes thought about coming for it. It's bounced to Vialli, the back heel to Hughes. Newton. Di Matteo stretched and gets the benefit now. There's Vialli. Vialli was dragged back. Finds Sinclair. Oh, he just let it run away from him. Barling got in. And he's fed again, Barling. From Rua Christensen. And Barling goes, and Clark stops him. Good challenge. LeBeuf long, Hughes offside. Mark Hughes hasn't had the chance to make any impact since coming on.
No, he's worked hard, and maybe at this stage of the game, Jonathan, they've still got flow on the bench. I'm always an advocate of playing a player when he plays against his old side, and he's a tall lad, big strapping 6-footer, and maybe he might come on, might encourage Chelsea to play a bit more direct. Because clearly the route trying to work the ball through midfield, Zola has been influential at times during the second half. I don't think it's really been as productive as they first thought.
Right, LeBeuf certainly felt the full force of that challenge. It must be absolutely brass monkeys down there because this wind is numbing. Wise to Vialli. That's where the snow is at its thickest. With the poise and grace of a ballet dancer out there on ice. Wise's cross. Zola just dropped off Steiner Nielsen. Good tackle. Robin Benson. Steiner Nielsen comes away with it. Newton with a drive! Or was it Babayaro? It was Celestine Babayaro's drive. Took it up the snee in the snow. And it took a deflection. 14 minutes to go. And Chelsea have their fifth corner of the game. Still, they've yet really to have an effort on target, but this is the time for that precious away goal. Dennis Wise. His shoes on the near post. Vialli in there as well. That's loose. Oh, and did that hit a hand? That certainly seemed to hit a hand. It may have been Hofstad's hand. LeBeuf. Snow is just easing a wee bit, perhaps. Di Matteo, claim it away. Here's Ost. That's Langer. Here's Frank LeBeuf now. Ball simply not rolling cleanly for him. Hughes pushed his man. Don't forget the clock you're seeing on your screen won't be the official time kept by the referee, Jacek Granat, because of the stoppages to sweep the touchlines. The Granat set jaw the determined Jonny Hansen. Ost was the header down and hapless Ed de Hoy away. Ost. Good challenge, Eddie Newton, as he sets something up here. Vialli, Zola to his left-hand side. Franco Zola looking for someone to arrive outside him. No one's there. Zola into Vialli. And Steinar Nielsen has showed some class. Well, no wonder the Milanese are looking at him, Paul.
Yeah, he's a good player, but I thought also, Jonathan, that was a poor decision by the referee, because he clearly came away with the ball and was probably, you know, moving forward into an advanced possession, and the referees actually stopped the play and awarded the free kick when it was a clear advantage.
She wouldn't have minded a move to England before Milan came in to follow his brother. Rura Christensen. Barley. Sinclair away, and Jonny Hansen strides out. Leboeuf, it's more direct now for Chelsea. Celestine Babayaro, 11 minutes to go. They've done well, actually, to keep it down to 2. It's a throw in on the far side. And there's action down on the Chelsea bench, and Frank Leboeuf has been uncomfortable with a shoulder injury for a while. Forced with the effort. I wonder if it'll be Frank Leboeuf who goes off, Paul.
I think so. I mean, he was just raising his hands up at the bench. I don't know if it was a hamstring or a shoulder there, Jonathan. I think he's signalling to hold it there.
Ooh, dear, oh dear, he was lucky, Celestine Babayaro. Devoy will clear it away for Chelsea. Babayaro slipped but managed to recover his senses. Hughes again pulled up by the Polish referee. I wonder if Mark Hughes and Luca Vialli and Franco Zola to Andre Flo have benefited from being in and out of the side. There's Frank Leboeuf. Seems okay at the moment. We'll see more now. Well, he didn't want to go up in the air. Who would? Leaping with Langer and Ost. Wise. Away by Steinar Nielsen. Good footwork by Celestine Babayaro. Newton had the stretch, not out for that. Christensen. Zola dropping deep. Di Matteo, Vialli, good ball played to him. Hughes is off to his left. Still Vialli. Went for a 1-2. Vialli through on goal. Gianluca Vialli! And at long last, Chelsea have something to celebrate. Tromso 2, Chelsea 1, and the Iceman cometh, as cool as you like. And Chelsea are back in the tie. And how?
Yes, that's just excellent footwork by Vialli. Worked extremely hard, played a 1-2 actually off the Tromso defender, and to his credit, he shows great composure. A 1-2 there, he's in on go, keeps his head, keeps his cool, shows excellent composure, and it's in the low corner.
Luca Vialli scores for Chelsea for the 6th time this season. That could be the most important. Arsenal's in on goal! Oh no! And there's the 2-goal buffer again! And the Chelsea bench are fuming because they were trying to make a substitution. And Frank Leboeuf was not in the middle. And they are absolutely fuming. Leboeuf had come across to the touchline. Andy Myers was waiting to go on. There was the gap. And Ors went through and scored. And the Chelsea bench is up in arms. And they feel that they have been cheated out of this. Myers is fuming. So too Frank Leboeuf. And the man they are screaming at, Miroslav Tuska, the Polish fourth official. And they've got a real argument there.
Yes, they have, but equally as well, Jonathan, why didn't the referee stop play? He actually allowed play to continue, and clearly there was a gap there. Whilst it was a clinical finish, the referee never stopped play. And clearly there's a breakdown in communication somewhere.
Well, the substitution is eventually made. We saw from the aerial challenge moments ago, Frank Leboeuf was uncomfortable. Andy Myers has come on for him. But Chelsea fuming about that because Leboeuf was out on this near touchline. And Chelsea quite clearly thought that their goal by Luca Vialli was the natural punctuation mark in the game to bring that substitution on. Dennis Wise looks for Vialli. Back there and tussling for it. Vialli this time has conceded a free kick. Grits his teeth. Is that a sneeze? Kramer, the captain, is okay. Just over 5 minutes to go. Come on, Chelsea, get some justice. Vialli, Dennis Wise, good tackle. Oh, and a little bit of bad feeling, just erased by that lovely moment. Sinclair's throw. Oh, we've got in a muggle. He's had a steady game. Johnny Hansen at the back, very steady. He's a student, he's 24. Andy Myers will win the race. He really has had a night to forget, hasn't he, Ed the boy? That's Barling, one of the Tromso substitutes used. He named 6 substitutes on the bench, 7 allowed. Sinclair. Stena Nielsen, nice touch. Johnny Hansen. 3-1 to Tromso. Here's Sinclair. Back towards Ed Defoy. And we're told there's a Norwegian television reporter is giving out on air to Norway at this moment in time the fact that this is the worst conditions he's ever seen in 20 years of covering football in Tromso. Di Matteo, challenge was hefty by Rua Christensen and by Hughes a wee bit late. And that looked fair to me.
It was a good challenge.
You've got to give referee leeway, I think, on 1 or 2 challenges tonight, though, Paul. It's so difficult to judge. This is a ploughed field of a pitch at best, and add to that 1.5 inches of snow. Flicked in by Orst. They have not looked comfortable when they've thrown it up to Lange or to Orst. Di Matteo, though. And Vialli. Thought he'd given Chelsea that precious lifeline. Perhaps he still has. A 2-goal buffer. Certainly not too much to overturn at the bridge. Barling. They can't afford to give away another one, that's for sure, though, in the last 3 minutes. Andy Myers. Hughes. Hughes to Vialli. Vialli, lovely touch. And again, Vialli's done brilliantly. Vialli for Chelsea. Oh, that's magnificent. And justice is done. That is magnificent. And Christopher Dean never had anything on Luca Vialli. Give him Jane Torville and he'd win an ice dance Olympic medal. Well done, Luca Vialli. And Chelsea are right back in the tie.
Yes, that's wonderful individual skill. If anybody's got that ability to improvise, to conjure something out of nothing, here Vialli's got 2 men around him, goes past 1, goes past 2, feints, looks up, sees where the goal is, and that's a sensational finish. Clinical, showing great composure, and he's worked his socks off tonight, Vialli, and he's scored 2 terrific goals and restored a bit of credibility back to Chelsea.
Well, that is absolutely precious. 3-2, a 1-goal deficit on a night like this, on a night of surprises and shocks in so many ways, and controversy. Chelsea will be, I think, thankful to get away with that. And Vialli, when the snow came down yesterday when we arrived, some Chelsea fans were saying to us, I wonder how the Italians would be suited to the climate, and I wonder if they'd be up for it. and he certainly proved that he's up for it.
Yes, I mean, his attitude and application has been first class, and even in the first half, Jonathan, when they were chasing the game, he was working hard, closing defenders, you know, trying to hold up play and bring others into the game, and he fully deserves the 2 goals he's got.
Such a quality touch on the edge of the penalty area. Approaching the last minute now. Clark was pushed. They have been a handful, haven't they? Lunga and Orst in the air. Babayara. It's away by Svein Morten Johansen. Driven back towards him. Nielsen. Hughes. Can Chelsea make it even better now? Di Matteo. Got Zola to the left-hand side. Looks for Zola. Nice ball. Zola, good control. Wise is around the back. Zola. Well, they say it's the land of the midnight sun. Can Chelsea have a little bit of solar brilliance? He's worked hard. Christensen in the midfield. So's Langner and Orst. Langner again. Danger here. Benson. Good tackle, Andy Myers. Good covering on that Chelsea left. Zola. Scampering. Zola, the little snowmobile. Still Zola. Oh. Well, that would have been the icing on the cake for Chelsea in this brave-hearted performance.
That was excellent covering by Andy Moyes and a good ball forward, but in actual fact, as Zola was taken on 1 or 2 there, Jonathan, Vialli has pulled up at the far post and was holding up his hands. If maybe Zola had looked up, he was clearly unmarked there.
2 away goals for Chelsea. They're losing 3-2, but they've had to play the 11 Norwegians on the field of play, and this is a hard-working and honest, industrious side. They've had to play a treacherous quagmire of a pitch, quagmire in places, barren, rock-hard, frozen in others, and then they've had to play a blizzard. Clark, ooh, well, could have gone absolutely anywhere. Tromso think there was a foul on the edge of the penalty area, by the way. Here's Wise. Kramer. He's lumped it out because they have a body down on the edge of the box. The referee just checking that he's okay. I think it's Langner down there, I think. It is Langner. Just behind Frank Sinclair now, actually, getting some treatment. Clark, Hughes offside. Ooh, that was a late decision. I'm not too sure if he was on or off. Langer's nose is splattered. Oh dear, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yes. In actual fact, I thought the fullback, Johansson, was keeping Hughes onside there.
So, Morten Kramer, in the stoppage time, will clear it away. 5 minutes of stoppage time play, but that's because of the referee's decision to clear the lines. And Tromso have a famous win, perhaps the biggest in their history ever. They have beaten mighty Chelsea from the English FA Carling Premiership by 3 goals to 2 on a dreadful night for football. But Gianluca Vialli has given Chelsea a magnificent opportunity to turn the tie around with 2 superb goals on a night made for snowmen and snowballs and snow machines, but certainly not soccer.
Yes, I mean, in the end, Chelsea have fought their way back into the game. They showed great attitude, great commitment after such a terrible start, never acclimatised themselves to the conditions. I felt they got it wrong tactically. The GUI, I must be honest and say, he was very, very disappointing. But on paper, they've certainly got a fantastic opportunity. The quality is there. And back at Stamford Bridge in the second leg, there's more than enough in Chelsea's closet to get a very, very positive outcome.
They call this the gateway to the Arctic. And certainly Chelsea have encountered Arctic conditions here tonight. But what a performance up front by Vialli.
Yes, he was sensational, industrious, worked hard, and really, I mean, that's a player of the highest order, Jonathan. You know, when it's going against them and they've got that ability to conjure something out of nothing and show that kind of cool, calculated finishing is a credit to the player himself after his problems at Chelsea. But I mean, he will look very, very fit, and really all evening was such a constant threat in Tromso's rear guard, and they done very well too after a very, very good start. And I thought the two big men, Arsenal Lenga and Christensen in midfield, they were their three key players and most productive.
Thanks very much, Paul. Paul Elliott, Chelsea hero, and there's been some heroes out there tonight. You know, the German battleship, the Tirpitz, was sunk very near here in 1944, and for a while we thought that British hopes would be sunk here tonight in the snow. But Chelsea have come back and will start favourites in the second leg, despite losing here in the first by 3-2.
Chelsea should have seen the signs early on when Ed de Hoy was forced to make a save in Tromso's first attack. 2 minutes later, the Norwegians took the lead. Steiner Nielsen's drive too hot in the icy conditions. Chelsea looked as though they didn't fancy mixing it with their opponents, and they paid the price after 19 minutes when de Hoy failed to get behind Frode Furman's shot. More than 6 tons of snow had been cleaned off the pitch, but in the half-time break, blizzard conditions prevailed, and Tromso almost scored a third when Langer broke free, only for his shot to slide across the goal mouth. With 5 minutes to go, Chelsea suddenly grabbed a lifeline. Gianluca Vialli somehow kept his footing and prodded the ball past Grennison. But as Chelsea prepared to make a substitution, the Norwegians struck again through Arst. Tromso had a 2-goal cushion again. The protests from the Chelsea bench were frozen out. Instead, the players seized the initiative on the field as Vialli scored a second goal deep into injury time, to give the Blues a task that's a little less difficult in the return leg. Mark O'Leary.
Failed to overturn a deficit from an away leg. A night which will not only shape Ruud Gullit's season, but also to a major degree the more long-term future for Judge Streck. Victory will give them hope of silverware all the way to the final weeks of the season, but also it's essential for Gullit's 10-year plan for the club that it achieves European success to keep the cash rolling in, to keep attracting the big stars. Tonight, Gullit makes 2 changes from the first leg. Andy Myers plays for Steve Clark at the back, and Dan Petrescu replaces Danny Granville, who went off at half-time in Tromso. Mark Hughes and Tora Flo are again only on the bench.
Yeah, them leaking goals, but no doubt at all about their scoring prowess and entertainment value. Clear favourites to win this cup.
Tromso unchanged, having secured their first division status in Norway. Skiing club to get us off and underway in this first half on the green grass of home. Stamford Bridge, the home of Chelsea, all in blue. Never beaten on this ground in European ties. 20 times they've played here. The courage of players like Dennis Wise, who follows the long legacy of Chopper Harris and so on. That sort of courage has made sure that Chelsea have remained unbeaten here. They trail 2-3 on aggregates as we kick off the night then. Chelsea knowing a 1-0 victory will be enough. And that's a bizarre start. Well, if he's trying to catch Ed de Hoy out right at the start, he would have been very, very lucky indeed. Still, perhaps worth a go. Here's Frank Leboeuf and away towards Celestine Babillard. Leboeuf celebrating a call-up to the French side to play next week against the Scots. Leboeuf again. Slipping on the left-hand side, Dennis Wise. And immediately we can see that Wise has come to the left-hand side of the midfield to allow Di Matteo into a more central midfield position alongside steady Eddie Newton. Wise handballed it on the ground. What a smiles for Dennis Wise and the Tromso players in the snow of the Arctic Circle a fortnight ago. Here's Steiner Nielsen looking to get width on that far side. Frode Furman will be the man who gets down that line. Wise again, suspicion of another handball. That was Langer in, looking for Orst. Wise will find Zola. Babillard to Vialli. Di Matteo, strong challenge on him. Nielsen was the man who will cost Milan around about £800,000, but there was a lot made of that story in the first leg. He will in fact go to a lower league club, we believe, Monza, before having a chance to stake a claim for himself at San Siro. Here's Vialli, who knows all about that ground. And again, Nielsen went with him, and a handshake. I thought the first leg was played in good spirit as well, despite the snow.
Already, Jonathan, a view of the versatility of the Chelsea players. Dennis Wise has reached the verge of the England squad, playing in the middle of midfield, and is now playing on the left. Routes, chops and changes, and still comes up with winning teams.
Petrescu allowed the cover challenge to bite back at him by Morten Kramer. Here's Zola. Sinclair is still wide. Good run, onside. Can he keep the ball in play? Sinclair can't quite. But a significant gap on that left-hand side of the Tromso defence, where the captain, Morten Kramer, is perhaps otherwise occupied mentally. He got married 2 days after the first leg. And that's good control, good run by Sinclair in the end, Joe, but the control just let him down.
Yes, I think justice was done, though. He did look slightly offside.
Now here's a throw deep inside the Chelsea half, given away this time by Sinclair. And of course Tromso will be in no hurry to get on with things. Here is Kramer, the captain, wears contacts during a game, spectacles off the field of play, and a big friend of Tore Andre Flo, who's on the Chelsea bench.
I think Tore Andre Flo will be very disappointed not to start, but he's already realised, I'm sure, that the squad system at Chelsea means he'll get plenty of games this season. Unfortunately for him, not tonight.
LeBoeuf clears, slight deflection off Horst, comes back to him again. LeBoeuf is across there, cannons off Horst to Sinclair. LeBoeuf cannoned off the corner flag, poor clearance away. And Chelsea can ill afford to concede a goal here in the opening stages. And while many people thought on paper this would be a walkover, already Tromso of Norway have proved with this first corner of the game, they must not be underrated. The corner kick will be taken by number 21, Rua Christensen. Rua Christensen has 3 in at the near post, and Steinar Nielsen is the danger man on the edge of the penalty area. Wonderful he came. Fierce punch. And again, the big men will cause problems in at that near post.
Crosses and corners in particular have been a problem for Chelsea this season. And you see there, it was an excellent delivery, and De Goey came at the very last to clear it.
Steinar Nielsen's head down. And away by Eddie Newton. Wise to Zola. 3 yards before he crosses the halfway line there. He's got Petrescu making the crossfield run, and Babayara outside him, and Babayara's cross must be... Oh, Vialli! Now, I'm not too sure whether Vialli felt hot breath down the back of his neck and thought it was a Tromso player and therefore snatched at it.
No, he had to take his chance. I think you'll find the little Wise is in there with him, but Vialli's a striker, has got to take his chance. He'll put that down as a miss, and that certainly wasn't in his dream.
Certainly was, and we don't know the nature of that dream, whether or not he's attempted scoring, but Wise was right in behind there. Just wonder whether he thought that was a Tromso player coming, or Dennis Wise must have shouted, I guess. Here's Sinclair.
It was a terrific counter-attack, though, Jonathan, from a corner by Tromso, and all of a sudden they were right in the box and in with a great chance.
Zola to Di Matteo. And there's Babayara, and Wise is outside him. Sold him slightly short, Celestine Babayara. Wise. Oh, lovely ball to Petrescu. Onside, Vialli in the middle. Di Matteo in there. Still down Petrescu. Petrescu lifts it up and over. Off the deflection, corner kick Chelsea. And he was the man, Dan Petrescu, that Charlie Nicholas and Nigel Spackman talked about in the studio a while ago. As the danger man for Chelsea, deflected up and over.
Excellent early signs for Chelsea. Already one clear chance and 1 or 2 half chances.
So Zola and Wise conspire. Di Matteo in the dropout zone. Far post Sinclair. Good punch away though by big Tore Andre Grenersen. 1 cap for his country, Norway. One of the 3 internationals in this squad. Wise. And Dennis Wise was caught rather late. Robin Benson was the man who caught him late, and Robin Benson gets a yellow card, the first booking of the night. Benson, a local food chain sales representative in the north of Norway. A wonderful flight out of Tromso. The pilot reassured us on the way out there was plenty of sand at the end of the runway to give us grip just before we took off, and suddenly we realised by the sand he meant the beach. It was a bit scary for a while. Here's LeBeuf from Myers. Nearly comes through to Petrescu and does. Zola forward of him. Steinar Nielsen away. Sinclair. Now, was that a sign, Joe? I just wonder that Chelsea are a wee bit edgy about this. They want to get on with things, perhaps a little bit too quickly.
No, I don't think so. I think they've had a decent start, but you have to realise, like all Norwegian sides, they'll be well drilled. Norway tends to produce a lot of very, very good players, English-type players, but they produce teams rather than sort of top-class international players. And they look a very typical side. They're strong, they're honest, and they'll be very fit.
There's Vialli with Steinar Nielsen. Many similarities between this Tromso side in action here and the Norwegian international side you'll see in the World Cup finals in the summer. Newton and LeBeuf to Myers. Abiyaro. There's Newton square of him. And Vialli making the forward run just offside. Be interesting to see whether it was Vialli offside or Petrescu on the far side of the field from us at the top of your picture. Gianluca Vialli, huffing and puffing. What was in that dream, Luca? You wouldn't tell anyone yesterday. Steinar Nielsen will take this free kick. With Gullit on the bench. Thanks to the physio down there as well. Terry Byrne, the assistant physio, to the right-hand side of your picture. Up goes Andy Myers. Forced to control it. Now, down the man. Dan Petrescu. Acres of space for Dennis Wise. Zola breaking left. Di Matteo is in the middle to the right there of your picture. In comes the cross. Aimed at Vialli.
That's a brilliant cross, Jonathan, and already Chelsea have shown that there's room down the sides to attack the Tromso side. A brilliant cross from the wingman.
Good build-up, good understanding. Here's the cross again, Joe. Just lifted up and away. They saved the corner as well. Abiyaro. Wise, who's giving them width on this left. They lacked that a little bit in the first leg. Danny Granville was taken off at half-time and Celestine Babiyaro moved back to a left full-back position.
With Chelsea having so many players that are comfortable on the ball, they'll constantly switch play, Jonathan, and that's what's happening to get them in wide positions.
Here's the early ball in from the width to the right-hand side. Petrescu tried it twice, but it'll be Jonny Hansen to get it away. Petrescu back at him hard. Well, the Chelsea fans in the lower tier of the West End didn't like the decision. Let's have a look at it again. Petrescu sliding in. And they thought that should have been a Chelsea ball. New West End lower tier brings the capacity up here to 35,000 as Wise finds Vialli. Gianluca Vialli, half a chance. Steinar Nielsen coming back at him. Vialli, the European Cup Winners' Cup hero so far, off target.
With just over 10 minutes gone, you know, Vialli's had 3 clear chances. Although that was a hard chance outside the box on his weaker foot, but allied to the header and the great cross from Zola, Vialli will be very, very encouraged.
7 goals in 9 games this season for Luca Vialli, currently suspended for domestic football. Wise did well. Nielsen coming back. Shot drifting just out wide. Sinclair. A lot of space on that right-hand side now for Chelsea. Vialli offside this time. A lot more movement up front from Chelsea. Vialli, by his own admission, thought he played poorly in Tromso until those 2 wonderful balletic goals skimming across the ice and snow. And a great crowd favourite here at the bridge. Robin Benson to Stein Morten Johansson. Oh, that's a mistake by Myers. Could be costly, could still be costly. That's a corner kick. If Coy couldn't keep it in play, and a mistake by Andy Myers. And the man who cut into the penalty of Bjorn Johansson there is the man that, according to the newspapers, is interesting Southampton at this moment. He's rated at nearly £780,000. Good covering challenge back by Di Matteo.
He was, but it was sloppiness that let them in to start with, Jonathan. And realistically, you know, that's Chelsea's problem. They're absolutely delightful going forward, but they do give themselves headaches at the back.
Through to Pearman with the corner kick. What a header in that position. So dangerous. It was Nielsen who got in there. Still on the way. Pearman in good form recently. Myers a bit nervous with the clearance. Oh, lovely flick by Vialli. And Wise. The vision to look crossfield. The cover was back though by Stein Morten Johansson. Zola. Di Matteo. And they get the cross in. He's got Sinclair outside him if he wants him. Great run, Petrescu! Oh, brilliant goal! Dan the man! Dan Petrescu from Dennis Wise's cross! Petrescu seems to want to coordinate the celebrations, and Dan Petrescu puts Chelsea 1-0 up on the night, 3-3 on aggregates, but with the away goals, that's the breakthrough they needed.
A terrific ball in from Little Wise, no doubt about the offside, and well done Petrescu. Dare we say a dream start, Jonathan?
What a great start by Chelsea, and Dan Petrescu with his fourth goal for Chelsea. Rarely does he get one with his head though, not even in training. And that's just the start Chelsea needed. Now they have the platform to go on, and they should win this tie comfortably. With all due respect to Tromso, that's Rua Christensen, way off target. Excellent goal by Petrescu. And the boys in the studio had it spot on, Joe. They said he'd be the key man tonight, Dan Petrescu.
Yes, he's been very successful since his move to Chelsea. He showed lots of ability and lots of promise at Sheffield Wednesday, but certainly not the form that he showed for Chelsea since he came here.
Here's Di Matteo now. Too much weight on the ball, too much fizz, and a way through.
Already with 3 or 4 excellent chances in the first quarter of an hour. The signs are there. If Chelsea can get another one quickly, Jonathan, it could be very, very comfortable indeed.
3 sides have ever come here and drawn in Europe. Amsterdam, DWS Amsterdam in 68 in the UEFA Cup. At Bitterberg, Swedish part-timers came here and knocked the then European Cup Winners' Cup holders out a couple of years later. That's Langa trying to find Orst. And away strongly by Levert. An outstanding match at Villa Park at the weekend. Zola finds Di Matteo. And Babayaro has Wise outside him. Movement on the edge of the penalty area. Vialli just offside again.
Vialli's movements has been outstanding. The midfield players have always got a target when the ball's around the box, and he'll catch them again, there's no doubt about that.
He's the main man for Europe, says Ruud Gullit. When asked earlier on in the competition after the Bratislava game, how about Hughes' chance, how about Flo's chance? Well, he said my main man is Luca Vialli. Here's his compatriot Zola. Vialli again, waiting to time his run. Has it, he's onside. Didn't sit up comfortably for it. Good ball to Wise. Keeper grabs to Andre Glenderson. Local telephone company, computer engineer. He's been at the club for some 10 years. Local to Tromso up there in the Arctic Circle. This is captain Morten Kramer.
You know, Jonathan, Tromso have a problem now because they have to come looking for a goal. And the more that they do that, the more that Chelsea should be able to pick them off on the break. And their counter-attacking up to now has been excellent.
For all the talk of 1 or 2 of their players, a wee bit of bravado was creeping through. I think their manager, Håkan Sandberg, really kept his feet on the ground. Swedish international in his own right, actually. And I think he believed that their Wembley, if you like, their FA Cup final, their World Cup final was when they played Chelsea at home and beat them. More realistic for him was the dream of keeping Tromso in the top flight, which he has done. Here's Dennis Wise, a lovely ball to him by Levert. Zola on the edge of the penalty area. Vialli making a run there at the top of your picture, and nearly found the keeper. Oh! Well may he smile. I don't think he's seen goalkeeping quite as laughable as that in a while.
Every time they switch play, they're getting someone in a wide position, and it's a terrific cross from Little Wisey. And realistically, you know, the tie could be over already had they taken their chances.
Out he comes. He came out then like the Subbuteo goalkeeper that no one ever wanted, the one that stood up, not died. Here's Zola, looking for Di Matteo.
I think he had a little bravery failure when he saw all the boots there, Jonathan.
Up goes Leboeuf, challenged in the air by Langner. He scored 2 goals in that relegation playoff aggregate victory over the Oslo side. Assistant referee Alexander Osashenko. 1-0 to Chelsea, 3-3 on aggregate. Jonny Hansen with the free kick. Horst heads on. Here's that man who has been in good form, Langner. Let's have a look at the goal at the other end though, Joe, that gives Chelsea the lead on the night.
Yes, it's a great ball and he's timed it superbly and it's unstoppable. There's no way the keeper can get near that. But again, you know, Tromso just had a little situation in Chelsea's box and they don't look watertight at all.
That'll be Svein Morten Johansen who clears. Say he's the joker in the Norwegian dressing room. Every joke we had in Tromso 2 weeks ago, from the airport in, they kept telling us jokes about snow and then falling over laughing. I thought it was hilarious. Have you heard of the joke about the mother-in-law and the snow? That's no laughing matter for Vialli. And there is the alleged joker in the pack, Svein Morten Johansen. Let's have another look at it. Ooh, painful. Back of the right Achilles.
That can be a bit painful. But it's one position where Ruud Gullit well off. I mean, you can only feel for Kenny Dalglish, who had a problem with all his strikers injured, and Ruud Gullit has an embarrassment to strikers, 2 internationals on the bench.
Zola's free kick. Ooh, arcing in. And he loves to have a ping from out there, Franco Zola. He arcs them in with pace and whip. Not far over.
And you can see the keeper came for the cross and then realised it was bending over him and found himself backpedaling, but just too much.
Oof. He wouldn't have got back, would he? Jonny Hansen looks for Ost's heads on. Chelsea well in command at this moment in time. There's that splendid home record. Just the 3 home draws, the blemishes, 17 victories in the 20 games. The other side that came in and drew, Austria Vienna in the Cup Winners' Cup of 94, 0-0. Sinclair to Vialli. Stand up if you hate a certain club from Sulphur Keys region, I think is the song they're singing around here at this moment in time at Stamford Bridge. Man U fans won't worry about that, they're used to it. Eddie Newton to Andy Myers with a new haircut. A blonde tint to it. Look for Di Matteo. Steinar Nielsen down. Svein Morten Johansen. Langner's head back to Christensen. Leboeuf immaculately placed. Maybe just beginning now to really settle into a flat back four. Had a good game at Villa. The 2-0 win.
Second goal so important now for Chelsea, Jonathan, because with their 2 away goals, that would effectively put the tie out of sight.
Yes, I don't think it was ever going to be the same sort of victory they had against Jeunesse Haucherage. Once upon a time, 21-0 they won on aggregate. Leboeuf finds Babayaro. Good ball again. There's Di Matteo. Roberto Di Matteo goes for goal. Well, he's had a fine pedigree in this particular competition so far for Chelsea. Just drifted it off target, Di Matteo.
You know, Frank Leboeuf is so important for Chelsea in the way that they play. Not the most natural of defenders in the British style, but certainly with the ball at his feet, he's probably the best passer of the ball in the Premier Division.
Frank Leboeuf in that French side again. Next week, looking to add to his 11 caps. Now, Dennis Wise. Capped himself by England 12 times and still carrying and finds Vialli, which punts late Wise by Nielsen. Vialli's cross, looks for Zola. Captain of Tromso, just tucked out at the last moment. There's Morten Kramer. Experienced left back, nearly 300 games for the club. Many students in this side, 14 students in the squad, 2 engineers, a journalist. Even though those are students, they do train for a couple, at least once a day and sometimes twice a day. Oh, Christensen was just clipped by Eddie Newton. Good word from the referee, Vasily Melnichuk. Rua Christensen. An accountant by trade. 21 minutes gone. They look for Åsheda. And when they get the ball in the air, they will be a threat. Here's Wise. Midway through the half. One man went to mow is the song of Stamford Bridge. It's an easy cut out for Dennis Wise. Andy Myers. At this moment in time, 28,000 voices are unified. Wise, another great ball out of defence by Lefebvre. Really has found his rhythm and range.
That's maybe 4 times he's hit that ball now, and all inch perfect, Jonathan. So important to Chelsea.
Wise looking for movement. Zola provides it. Steinar Nielsen maybe gets it away. Helped out by his captain Kramer. Has to do it all again. Petrescu. Now Eddie Newton. He was on the fringe of England recognition last season before the injury. Here's Orst. To Svein Morten Johansson, good challenge. Di Matteo and Zola finds Vialli. Vialli for time! As the dream said, I will score, I have the dream! And the dream was Chelsea heading through to the European Cup Winners' Cup quarter-finals. And the dream maker turns goal taker.
Yes, that effectively finishes the tie now. It should be a matter of how many without being too complacent. A great little ball in. And Vialli's done what all strikers should do. He's hit the target and he's gone over the keeper's body.
A great finish from Luca Vialli. He was the man who said yesterday he knew one way or another whether he was going to score or not. And he says he's got something like a 99% success rate with this particular dream that he has.
I just wish he told us what his dream was before. He can't really claim it having not told us, can he? Tromso are trying to play a flat back four and let Chelsea run offside, but it's just not working. They've not been very good at it at all.
Keeper didn't quite get down early enough for it, Joe.
Yes, hit the target with a chance.
Lefebvre looks for Vialli again. Keeper this time does make it.
You know, his movement is a lesson for any striker. I wouldn't say that Vialli is technically the most gifted Italian player that we've ever seen, but certainly in terms of movement, he's an object lesson for any forward.
Good covering on the Chelsea right-hand side. Through to Fairman. Chelsea a lot happier, by the way, that they have a home game in the Premiership this coming Sunday against West Ham United after a European Cup Winners' Cup Thursday match. They weren't unhappy. They weren't happy, I should say, about the Bolton trip. That's a good ball by Orst. Heading in the middle was Robin Benson.
I think with that Sunday game in mind, Jonathan, if they get their third goal fairly quickly, even this early in the game, Ruud Gullit will start thinking about using his substitutes and giving people a rest.
Here's Leboeuf at the back. Sinclair. Petrescu is down the line if he wanted him. Andy Myers. Certainly is in fine form at the moment, Leboeuf. Big one again. Enormous expansion defensive ball. Lovely touch by Wise. Di Matteo. Oh. Good cut out by Jonny Hansen. Splendid pass by Frank Leboeuf.
I mean, the highlight of the half up to now, Leboeuf's passing, his long-range passing is as good as we've seen for a long, long time.
He knows he's on the big stage, Joe, doesn't he? He knows that the French management are watching. So desperate to make it to the World Cup finals next summer. I don't know if you can hear the song the Chelsea fans are now singing, "You Only Sing When It's Snowing." Stayner Nielsen. That's offside. Not against Langer, but against Orst, who was further away. There he is, one of the big front men, Ollie Morten Orst. Just in Birmingham for a while, but the 23-year-old scored in both legs against Zagreb in the first round of the competition. So 2-0 to Chelsea on the night, 4-3 on aggregate. Must be said, criticism of the short tugging there on Orst by Di Matteo. Criticism of the conditions in Tromso in the first game helped to disguise some pretty ineffective Chelsea defending. Zola. Certainly long-standing Chelsea fans who remember all the cup upsets against lesser opposition over the years domestically. That beautiful Vialli. Zola. Tidy play by Chelsea and the little Italian from Sardinia again. Wise to Zola. Just too far from Franco Zola.
He'd be disappointed with that, with his quality. It was neither a cross nor a shot. But certainly Chelsea seem to be able to get behind Tromso at will at the moment, Jonathan, and it's a matter of how many, I think.
Dennis Wise has given them width on the left-hand side, Chelsea, and again urging more from his team. Jonny Hansen. Langer and Orst were a problem in the first game. They're not here so far tonight, not really. Leboeuf, 29 years of age, successful in Europe with Strasbourg in the Intertoto Cup in 1995, got them through to the UEFA Cup competition. Vialli, 4 goals in the Winners' Cup of this season so far. Petrescu, scorer of the first tonight. Myers. It's a lovely ball attempted again by Leboeuf. He really has got his vision and his sights in tonight, Frank Leboeuf.
He's running the game at the moment like an American quarterback, firing off passes to all his runners.
Throw in, won by Further Fairman. Risky, only one back by Petrescu. Bjorn Johansson, who's been very quiet. Viara's misplaced header. Here is Johansson. Bjorn Johansson. Back it comes to Svein Morten Johansson, and the book was there again. Here's Wise. Vialli, can he keep it in? Half an hour gone. Chelsea leading 2-0. Leboeuf still there. Enjoying it at the moment. Not a good cross, but Aviaro will get the benefit. Vialli, Wise in the middle, calling for it. That's the early ball offside, Dennis Wise. Just got in too early.
Again, great width and a very decent ball in, just fractionally offside from Little Wise. Swap positions with Vialli for a second.
Got in front of his man just a little bit too early. Dennis Wise, overdue a goal, has won this season in his 12 games. He's been out of the side domestically suspended after his 5 cautions this season. Zola, oh, lovely touch. Christensen wins it back. And Johansson to Orst. Langer. Orst again. Good control. Danger for Chelsea. Orst has gone down in the box. Picked himself up very quickly and Sinclair away.
You know, they do look a little bit vulnerable on the counter-attack, Chelsea, and they must be a little bit worried about that, because certainly the likes of West Ham on Sunday and other Premiership sides will give them more problems than Tromso. But they have to tighten up on their defending if they're going to be a force this season.
That's handball. Challenge went fiercely in by Svein Morten Johansson after the ball had been played, but the referee's had a quiet word with him. Dennis Wise, the original offender. Ruud Gullit so many times in the past 12 months have said Chelsea have thrown away dominating positions. Games they should have won, they have drawn. And that's why he thinks they would have actually been championship challengers last season. Here's the captain, Kramer. That's way away. Morten Kramer. I've seen pictures earlier on in the programme of Dennis Wise smiling with a Tromso player in the first leg. That was the man, Morten Kramer. Don't forget at half-time the thoughts of Nigel Spatman and Charlie Nicholas back in the studio. Here's Celestine Babayaro. Roberto Di Matteo comes short. Just a little bit of lacking in communication there. Wise and Vialli was looking for the ball long.
I think it was the delivery. It was a great run by Vialli. He sucked his defender in and then peeled off behind him, and it just didn't quite get there.
Sinclair in loads of space on the right-hand side. It's a special place in the hearts of Chelsea fans. Came through the youth ranks here. Leboeuf, Svein Morten Johansson. And he could see what he wanted to do. He just got the angle of the header wrong, the 26-year-old student. And Chelsea want the ball from back to there. Dennis Wise is in the corner triangle there. Perhaps he just wanted to get some more support, some more backing. In comes his cross. Ruud Gullit was saying yesterday he wanted the fans to make Stamford Bridge very hostile for opposition in Europe. That's a lovely flick by Zola to Di Matteo, and Wise once more. A slip allowed Morten Johansson to get in. Babayaro.
Dennis Wise will have to check his studs at half-time. That's 3 times now he's slipped over in good positions.
And this could be dangerous here. Bjorn Johansson. Chelsea look a wee bit stretched. Oh, poor control. Got the ball behind him on the Morten Orst.
Great passion Leboeuf out of defence.
Been magnificent so far. Here's Vialli. Petrescu. Zola's away on the left-hand side if he can see him. Just held on to it a wee bit too long. He looked for Langer up front. Newton saw the danger. Zola. Still Zola. Oh, lovely run by the Italian impish forward. The ball back to his teammate, Di Matteo. Teammate at club and country level. Just lifted it over.
Yes, the Italian connection there for all to see. And with Vialli at the back post, all 3 Italians were in the box, the only Chelsea players there at the time.
Lovely movement by Zola out wide. Zola and Di Matteo, no wonder they've looked maybe jaded a couple of times recently. They came back from Norway with Chelsea 2:30 that Friday afternoon, flew out to Italy at 7:30 that night. Then from Italy to Moscow on the Monday for the World Cup playoff. And after, Di Matteo played, Zola didn't. They flew back to London on the Thursday. Grueling schedule, around about 5,000 miles flown at least.
I think also, Jonathan, there's a lot of domestic pressure on the Italian players because they're not happy in Italy over their failure to qualify by rights for the World Cup finals, and they do get quite a lot of stick when they get home.
Di Matteo now. Throw into Tromso. Chelsea 7 attempts on goal. Tromso have had the 2. 2 attempts on goal converted by Chelsea. Gianluca Vialli on 23 minutes. And Dan Petrescu 11 minutes earlier. Dennis Wise. Myers again in. Here's a chance for Bjorn Johansson. And the outstanding Frank Leboeuf gets back again. He is celebrating that French call-up in style. Now Di Matteo. Carrying well. Spozzola. Confident carry by Roberto Di Matteo. Zola's enjoying it. Didn't quite come off. Flip on by Orst. Comes back to him. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. And Frank Sinclair redeemed himself.
No, they are a little sloppy at the back tonight. I don't think anyone would argue at this stage that Chelsea are deservedly in front. But I know that Ruud Gullit will be saying from the half-time, you must keep it tight. The last thing they want to do is give the Tromso side any encouragement at all of an away goal.
Don't forget, if we were to finish bizarrely 3-2 again tonight for Chelsea, we'd hit extra time. And the danger in the air. And Ed de Goey was equal to it. Ed de Goey at 6'4". And he just reached back under no sort of pressure, but perhaps he didn't know that. Tromso have their fourth corner of the night. Bleu de Fairman. Goes Leboeuf with Orst. Sinclair shouted early. Put a name on it. Morten Kramer with a throw for Tromso. Trailing 2-0 on the night and 4-3 on aggregate. Now Bjorn Johansson goes beyond Di Matteo. Good effort! Oh, what a splendid goal! What a splendid goal for the man who interests Southampton, allegedly. And if he can bring that sort of finishing power to the English game, we could do with anything like that in the Premiership. That was a fine goal, and we have a match on our hands once again.
Again, Jonathan, sloppy defending, a missed tackle there by Di Matteo, makes a really poor attempt to get it, and an excellent finish, I have to say, but Chelsea do give themselves problems at the back.
Bjorn Johansson, 2-1 on the night, 4-4 on aggregate. Chelsea have the extra away goal. This could be nervy now. Vialli, lovely ball again by Leboeuf. Who had a quiet game up until then. He certainly let that one fly. It was all about flying. He's a check-in clerk at the local airport in Tromso. Jonny Hansen. You never quite know with Chelsea's defence. Has conceded a free kick, and Langler's taken it far too far forward. Some supporters have been saying to me over the last few weeks, you know, possible change the rules. If a team takes a free kick too quickly, too far forward, they should then lose that free kick. I wonder what you think of that. There's Stina Nielsen, scored in the first leg, from similar range, foul by Langler.
Well, let's hope that that goal against them galvanises Chelsea and wakes them up really to get back to their best form. They really don't want to be hanging on to, in this game. We saw the problems Aston Villa had the other night when the opposition scored an away goal.
5 minutes, just under in fact now, till half-time. Here's Vialli, good run by Di Matteo. That's been a feature of the half. Some suspicion of a push on Di Matteo. Was there a push? Though we went down late, I just wonder whether Rua Christensen made contact with him as Di Matteo went into the penalty area. He obviously doesn't think he did.
I think he had his hands out, Jonathan, but I don't think it was a deliberate push. But certainly the referee was right on the spot to say no.
And he's done well, Vasily Melnichuk, the referee from the Ukraine. Petrescu on. Vialli. Wise back to Babayaro. Bjorn Johansson. To throw in the way of Tromso, who will take great heart from that goal. Side have finished 3 off the bottom of the table in Norway. 6 wins in their 26 league games this season. Morten Johansson. Vialli looks for Newton. Will he spread it to Frank Sinclair on the right? Lovely ball. That's been a feature of Chelsea's first half, the quality of the passing. Leboeuf again. Di Matteo. Surely now he's got Wise to his left. Oh, that's cynical. And that could be red. That's Jonny Hansen. And it's only yellow.
I think the referee's been very, very lenient there because he was through on goal, Di Matteo, with a great chance of a shot. But I think at the point of view he's taken is there were lots of bodies around. But he's a lucky boy there.
Did Di Matteo have a clear run on goal? Would Stein and Nielsen have come back to him? If he'd have come back to him, certainly he had a man spare to his left in Dennis Wise. And Chelsea have been robbed, in my opinion, of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Will justice be done? 3 minutes to go before the break. Will it be little Zola have a crack against that six-man wall? Referee wants about the full 10 yards. There's Zola to the right of your picture, but Leboeuf is behind him and winding up to perhaps have a long run in himself. It's Zola! It's 3 for Chelsea! Franco Zola scores for Chelsea against the team from the land of the midnight sun. It's a Zola eclipse for Chelsea in the European Cup Winners' Cup.
A terrific free kick, and justice was done in the end. But let's hope that settles everybody down now. And you can see the goalkeeper has no chance at all. A Zola special.
Magnificent free kick by Franco Zola. And again, the Italian connection has worked well for the Blues tonight. 3-1 up on the night, and 5-4 in this remarkable European Cup Winners' Cup second round tie.
The only worry is, Jonathan, that the way both sides are defending, that's not the end of the goals.
Great little backflip by Celestine Babayaro there. Did it early on in the season, in a pre-season friendly against Stevenage Borough. Went off the field of play, a stress fracture to his leg. A lot of people said it was because of the somersault, but he's always hotly denied that. It was a stress fracture, in other words, it could have gone at any moment. Jorn Johansson scored that fine Tromso goal. Well, this could end up about 10-4 at this rate.
I hope not. Yet again, Dennis Wise slips and he's looking at his boots again. I'm sure that he'll change his footwear at half-time, or certainly take on board new studs.
De Goey finds Leboeuf. Last minute of the first half. What are your overall thoughts then, Joe?
Well, I think Leboeuf's performance sums Chelsea up. You know, he hasn't been particularly great as a defender, but he's been magnificent with his passing, and they've looked excellent going forward, but very brittle at the back.
Through to Fairman. No one out here. That's been the difference between the two sides. Quality of the passing.
I would love to see Chelsea get that fourth goal now, because the last thing we want to do is be looking down the barrel of a 3-2. A second goal by Tromso would certainly make the game much too interesting.
The Hullet and Graham Ricks, who experienced his 40th birthday out in Norway.
Looking at Ruud there, I don't think he can even spell pressure.
Wise to Zola. Di Matteo on the edge of the penalty area. He's held it up magnificently. Di Matteo's offside.
Zola's annoyed with himself there. He was hoping he could have given the pass a stride earlier. It's certainly a great run in from Di Matteo.
A splendid first half it's been as we enter the stoppage time. Andy Myers beaten in the air by Worst. Sinclair away and Babayaro. Spain Morten Johansson. Norway will be a difficult country to break down and beat in the World Cup finals. Here's Di Matteo, lovely strong run. Oh, marginal.
I think the linesman's got it right though. They just stepped up at the right time there.
Zola and Vialli both making the runs from midfield. Franco Zola will be so delighted with that free kick goal. He hasn't had the best of seasons, only 3 goals in 12 games. Let's have a look at it again. Well, just off was Zola. That's the half-time whistle. Chelsea leading by 3 goals to 1. It was Dan Petrescu, who put them on the way to that scoreline on just 12 minutes from Dennis Wise's cross. A rare headed goal by Dan Petrescu. The celebrations that followed, coordinated by the Romanian. 23 minutes gone, Gianluca Vialli, who kept us waiting whether he knew he'd score, and did. 2-0 to Chelsea on the night and 4-3 on aggregate. But then back came Tromso 7 minutes before the break. Splendid shot by Bjorn Johansson, who could well be coming to the FA Carling Premiership. And then the goal of the night, 3 minutes before the break, from Franco Zola, and that devastating free kick. And that puts Chelsea 3-1 up on the night, Joe.
Yes, it's a great first half, great entertainment.
Great entertainment. More to come in the second half. Half-time, Chelsea 3, Tromso 1. Pierce. Thanks very much, Adam. It's Chelsea getting us off and underway in the second half then. 3-1 up on the night, 5-4 on aggregate, all in blue, and kicking from left to right in this second half. No changes to the personnel at the start of this second half. Ed Hoy in goal for Chelsea, Sinclair, Leboeuf, Myers, Babayaro, Petrescu, Newton, Wise, Di Matteo, Vialli and Zola up front. And his Italian teammate Di Matteo caught in the first offside trap of the second period.
Again, just offside, Jonathan. Whenever the midfield players or the other midfield players or defenders get the ball, Di Matteo's continually running through the back four of Tromso. He just needs to get it right once, and I think the game will be over.
Away by Frank Leboeuf. As the captain, Morten Kramer. And now, Rua Christensen. Away by Leboeuf once again. Had a magnificent first half. Petrescu to Vialli. Zola making the forward run. Caught offside. No, it was aimed to Dennis Wise. I think Zola had just strayed offside. And the Ukrainian officials, considering that Franco Zola was interfering with play there. Although the free kick has been spotted up where Dennis Wise was on the far side. There is the Chelsea inspirational captain. Missed the away defeat at Bolton in the league. And the game at Aston Villa last weekend. Celestine Babayaro. Twice the Belgian Player of the Year, even though he's only 18 still. De Goy away. Zola chests it down. Fred de Fairman. Away by Leboeuf. No Chelsea lead 3-1. If Tromso come back and score another one, that would be enough if it stayed like that to take us to extra time. And if they were to score 4, and although that sounds outlandish at this stage, then Chelsea would certainly have major problems if they were to score 3 or 4, with the away goals counting double. Zola off to Wise. Really the skill and the experience of the FA Carling Premiership side should prevail in this second half. Zola 1-2, very tight, throw-in given. Babayaro, great power and persistence, just couldn't get there in quickly enough.
Chelsea have always got plenty of width, Jonathan, with Wise and Petrescu playing almost like wingers, but they just haven't had that little bit of quality from Zola once or twice. His final ball hasn't been good, and that was an occasion Zola won't be happy with that 10-yard pass. I
don't think Babayaro will be too happy either. That's the whole of the ball over the line. De Goy. To Babayaro again. Spain, Morten Johansson. Flicked in, looking for Orst. Again, Langer in the air. Leboeuf away. Zola doing a magnificent, or rather on the far side, Di Matteo doing a magnificent job. Holding it up well. When he came to the side, eyebrows raised, Di Matteo, he's certainly one over many with his performances from midfield. Free kick came to nothing. And Again, the faint cry of one man went to mow is attempted by the Chelsea fans to try and get some atmosphere back into the bridge. Both climbing. Petrescu. Rowa Christensen digging back at him. Bigger crowd here than the 23,000 against Slovan Bratislava. Sinclair, though, out-battled by Fairman and fouling him. He's running down the left-hand side, strong runs down the left, the feature of Tromso's play in the Norwegian League this season. Obstruction given.
Again, a worry for Chelsea. The ball in the air where Tromso have looked quite powerful has given them problems.
Hansen went for goal, that wasn't a cross. And that will not please the Tromso bench. Hakon Sandberg down there, the coach, and his assistant, Trond Johansson, because they know that Chelsea are a wee bit suspect in the air, and they would have wanted better quality ball in than that. Second half starting at a slower tempo, Joe, than the first half ended.
Yeah, it's almost sloppy from Chelsea. You know, they need to get into their stride quickly and get that goal that would effectively finish the tie. We thought it was over at 2-0. Of course, they're a little bit nervous now, and then back to 3-1, but the last thing they need to see is Tromso scoring one to make it 2 3-2s.
There's Leboeuf strongly in. Ost has fouled him. Play on by the referee from the Ukraine. Babayara Dazola tried to kill it, cushion it and move on in one sweet movement. Leboeuf challenge, throw in Chelsea's way. And the outstanding player on the field tonight, Frank Leboeuf, the 29-year-old from Marseille, French international, cost Chelsea £2.5 million from Strasbourg, where he was a cup runner-up domestically. Beautiful ball. Cup holders of England in 1997. Ooh, Zola was just fouled and he felt the pain of it. Franco Zola hopped up there in anger, and I've seen him regularly here in the 18 months that he's been in England, or the 14 months that he's been in England. I've not seen him react like that before. Was not happy with the challenge. There's Vialli. Just too far for Wise. Gianluca Vialli, who got Chelsea's second of the night, his fourth in Europe this season, and his eighth of the campaign in 10 games. That's a starting strike rate. Di Matteo. Andy Myers. McCoy draws off the ball, gives himself some space. Morton Kramer's power header through. All three of their away ties played in European competition. Tromso, this is only their 8th game in Europe, I would add. Jonny Hansen.
Chelsea haven't quite picked it up yet in the second half and haven't really had a good attack of any note or a chance. Let's hope that this one rectifies that.
Wise looking for Vialli, cut out by Hansen. Babayara quickly in. Now Zola on the side. Petrescu in the middle. Beautiful ball. Down Petrescu. Just carried away from them. Dennis Wise with the side foot. Penalty kick to Chelsea. Wise smiles. Steinar Nielsen grimaces. And the penalty kick goes Chelsea's way.
I can see Tromso down in this corner appealing to the linesman. They felt there was an offside in the build-up. But certainly both officials have been excellent up to now.
Well, it seemed to hit him in the unmentionables more than the hand, but the referee was a lot closer than we. And Frank Leboeuf could cap what has been for him so far an exquisite night. And that's a red card. And Nielsen is off. That must have been for dissent.
Oh, that's a shame, really, because Tromso have been valiant, they've been brave. They've always been second best in this tie, but you don't really want to see them playing with one player short.
Well, the referee gives the penalty. I'm not too sure whether it was Nielsen who went, actually, but the referee Referee gives red, and it'll be Frank Leboeuf eventually, when calm is restored. To surely put Chelsea in an unassailable position.
Effectively now against 10 men, that should be it.
4-1 on the night, 6-4 on aggregate, and how he deserves that.
Yes, I think you'll see Ruud Gullit now warming up one or two of his subs and get them on, certainly to rest one or two players for the important Premiership game on Sunday.
Magnificent display by Chelsea. Indeed, it wasn't Nielsen who was sent off. He's there on the edge of the penalty area, but we'll get confirmation in a couple of minutes' time. Here he is, the man who gave away the penalty. Down to 10 men. It's a shame, really, Joe. It's all turned out wrong for them.
Yes, and the penalty did look a little bit harsh, but I mean, we've seen so many times, you can't argue with the referee, and if you keep on trying to make your point too strongly, that's what's going to happen. But really now Chelsea should be an easy start.
Leboeuf has been exceptional. Throw in. There he is, the Frenchman. Right foot Frank. He wanted to play to his right foot. On by Vialli. To Ambry Glenison. I think possibly only at fault with the Vialli goal. It's the only one you could maybe even label down to the keeper.
Chelsea will keep possession all the second half now. They'll make it very, very hard and run Tromso around. And certainly the part-timers won't fail for natural fitness, but it'll be very, very hard for them now to get back in this game.
Now it's Vialli. The man sent off for Tromso. Johnny Hansen it was, in fact, who got that red card. Must have been for something he said. Mind you, they did have a shout. It seemed from the replay that it hit Steinar Nielsen in the midrib.
Both midribs, actually.
Great atmosphere now at Stamford Bridge for the Cup Winners' Cup favourite. And Leboeuf, so unhappy there with the quality of his pass, turned away in disgust and has no need to, really. Will be the man who comes on, and Frode Fairman will be the man who goes off. On will come Thomas Hafstad, under 21 international and a youth international.
Well, certainly there's been no sign up to now from the Chelsea bench of substitute, so maybe Ruud's going to save the players for the full 90 minutes on Sunday.
And a big game for Chelsea on Sunday against West Ham. Is up. Leboeuf and Babayaro. There's Dennis Wise.
Certainly Babayaro's been very quiet, Jonathan. He's a very adventurous player normally, and he likes to get forward and get crosses in. But I suppose with a wide man in front of him in Dennis Wise, his opportunities have been few. But we would like to see a little bit more from him.
Zola, lovely quick feed again. Just cleared away. Now Rua Christensen. Langer. Leboeuf strongly in. Kramer. Seeks Orst. Again, this will give this splendid tie another twist. And Andy Myers cut down the angle and the distance between the two with great alacrity. Christensen. That's not a bad effort. And all credit to Tromso. They continue to try and play football.
I think they've been very game over both games. You know, they've been very honest and they've tried to play their football. Sometimes what's let them down is as they've attacked, they've been very vulnerable to a counter-attack. But fair play to the part-timers who haven't had a great season in their own domestic league. They've certainly come out of the tie with credit.
Wise. It's a lovely ball kick for Zola. Tromso down to 10 men. The gaps will appear now. What they've done is they've kept 4 across the back and just cut down the numbers in midfield.
Well, they've been quite direct anyway. They're playing off their front men and hoping for a header or a flick on or something like that. So that's where they've taken a chance in midfield where they're going to be outnumbered anyway.
Andy Myers leaves it. And Babayara will drop back to take this throw in. Brother came over and had a trial recently at Sunderland. His brother's a goalkeeper. Here's Zola to Petrescu. Oh, lovely shimmy, and it's Petrescu all alone. And Zola's to his left. Will he find him? It's Vialli, and it's Vialli for Chelsea. Petrescu foiled, but not Luca Vialli. Man of the moment, man of the European Cup Winners' Cup campaign, and this is a romp as Chelsea go now.
I've just seen Ruud Gullit celebrate as well. He must be really pleased with that. I think he's pleased for Vialli, who didn't have a great season last season, but is certainly paying him back in spades this year.
Well, Chelsea are surely home and dry. Petrescu, lovely change of direction. He had Zola, he's looked there. Good challenge.
I think he was looking to put Zola in, you know, and the defender got back in the last minute and put him off. But certainly we can look forward now, hopefully, to a goal feast.
Well, Vialli, 9 goals in 10 appearances for Chelsea this season. Again, moments of anxiety at the back for them. The scoring record now 20 in 43 for Chelsea. That's 1 in every other game roughly, and many of those games have been substitutes appearances. Here's Bjorn Johansson though. Frank Sinclair, who'd slipped, gets back at him, and that's not too far wide. He knows he's in the shot window.
Yes, again, 3 defenders chasing him and he's got his shot, and he's looked very lively tonight and done very well. Certainly the pick of the Tromso side.
5-1 to Chelsea, 2 for Vialli, Leboeuf, Zola and Petrescu. Johansson was the goal scorer for Tromso. And there's that 3-goal buffer that Chelsea have now on aggregate. Svein Morten Johansson. Langner up front, away by Leboeuf. Christensen tried to battle through.
Talking about substitutions, I don't think Gianluca Vialli would want to go off now. He didn't smell a hat-trick, and perhaps that was his dream, who knows?
And I wonder if it was. Luca Vialli, 5 goals in Europe this season, 2 of course away in Tromso, 2 tonight, 1 against Slovan Bratislava, away from home. And Sinclair away. Certainly going forward, few sides will be able to match Chelsea in the Cup Winners' Cup this season. It's just whether the defence can hold out. Di Matteo to Vialli. Di Matteo actually was bulked, was blocked by Johansson. There's Leboeuf. Deflected, couldn't carry through to Petrescu. Some thought it was hands. Johansson, direct running. Oh dear, that has caught Leboeuf, and he is up quickly. So Villa Park on Saturday was not by 1 and he stayed down inside his own box. And play was going all around him, and here's Dennis Wise now for Chelsea. Zola. Wise is outside it, just straight offside. Zola had to check. Petrescu. Petrescu's ball in. Vialli or Zola. Di Matteo on the edge of the box. Branson away. Now Christensen. Takes it back. Forward to Langer. Slips Leboeuf, but not the covering Sinclair.
Again, a brilliant cross from Petrescu, and Chelsea an inch away from yet another goal.
Dennis Wise. We'll have to get in on the scoring act for Chelsea. 6 this season they did at Barnsley in the second game of the campaign. 4 here against Southampton.
Chelsea now playing keep ball and just waiting for the spaces to appear, which they surely will. And you can't help but think there's more goals in this for Chelsea now.
Sinclair looks for Vialli. Oh, now has he just hurt himself there as he twisted in? He's holding his right knees, okay. He's getting up slowly. And meanwhile, here's Ors for Tromso. Now, there are a few Chelsea fans sort of giving that an ironic cheer. There's Vialli. Think he's okay, Joe? Looks all right to me.
I think he'll be okay, particularly while there's a chance of his hat-trick.
Got 4 in that game at Barnsley in the high-scoring affair early on in the season. His goals have come in batches. Petrescu to Zola, and Vialli's pulled off the far post.
Again, great movement from the wee man. He came to the ball and then he spun off, and all of a sudden he's behind. And Tromso were appealing in vain for offside. It was never offside. Just lacked a little bit of quality with his delivery in.
Beautiful time run by Zola. And he takes Chelsea's fourth corner of the night for Wise. There's Petrescu, the marking non-existent. The effort by Di Matteo. They're all having a go now, Joe.
Yes, I can see Graham Ricks and Ruud Gullit having a heated discussion maybe 1 or 2 changes. But they know now that the tie is won. And it's a matter of now their thoughts are thinking towards Sunday.
Yeah, the chairman of Chelsea looks well, doesn't he, Ken Bates?
He'd be a happy man, as happy as Doug Ellis.
Oh, he's looked a little bit like Santa Claus, and Christmas has come early for Chelsea tonight.
He might have trouble getting in here again, Jonathan, when he hears about that.
Petrescu. Zola. Petrescu's continued the run. Oh, that's unfortunate. They're playing some beautiful football now, Chelsea.
A touch too much. It needed to be played in first time. It was a 1-1-2 instead of a 1-2.
When they're on form and pushing it around like this, though, very few sides can compare an entertainment value in the Premiership to Chelsea when they're pushing it around like this. Manchester United, of course, the exception, and flying the flag so magnificently for England at the moment.
Yes, it's party time now. Exhibition stuff, really.
Here's Petrescu to Zola. Dropping deep, looking for the ball. The Tromso part-timers. At this moment, not living with Chelsea.
You can't help but admire them, though, Jonathan. They keep going forward and looking for a chance at goal.
That's Langner finding Hofstadt. Svein Morten Johansson. Disappointing ball in. Myers away. Steinar Nielsen finds his goalkeeper. Off to Milan for £800,000 after this. It will go to Monza, we've heard, on loan to start off with. Ost centre on. But ruled offside, and a free kick to Chelsea. We're into the last 25 minutes now. Not been his night, only Morten Ost. 10 goals this season. You can hear the man they're calling for. Hughesy is the cry from the Chelsea fans. They want to see Mark Hughes on the field of play. Chelsea will imminently make a substitution. I don't think it'll be the aforementioned Welshman to come on, though. We'll wait and see who does come on. LeBeuf to Zola. There's Di Matteo and Babayaro, and they played it so well. Babayaro has Vialli in the middle and Zola to the far post. Petrescu. Good bold punch by the keeper. Steve Clark, who's warming up on the Chelsea bench, preparing to come on. Babayaro has it again. Dennis Wise will have it. Wise out wide to Vialli. I just wonder whether Eddie Newton would be the man to come off for Chelsea. Just walking a little bit slowly in the centre circle as Petrescu picks it up now. Nice Dennis Wise. Petrescu again. Has Vialli there. Far side of the box, meanwhile, there's no one picking up Babayaro. Unfortunate slip for Dennis Wise. Got a move picture. Slip to his knees.
We will listen for Jim Frieda. Jim Frieda, please phone your son, Rob, urgently. Jim Frieda, please phone your son.
Chelsea leading 5-1, 7-4 on aggregate. That's That's why they can afford just to be comfortable at the back. Myers has Babayaro away there. Has great ability to go forward, Babayaro. Certainly did so when he was in Belgian football and Anderlecht. We haven't seen him greatly move down that left-hand side tonight. Here's Newton.
When you think there's Graham Lasso to come, Chelsea is certainly very well off in the left-back position.
Di Matteo, good run and seen by Babayaro. Bjorn Johansson is there with him. Kept his eye glued to the ball. This is the man that's interesting one or two clubs, including, as we said before, Southampton, if you believe the newspaper talk. Leboeuf. See Sinclair. Oh, what an exquisite ball. And Sinclair thought that it was going to be cut out by Kramer. What a magnificent ball. Yeah, it is Eddie Newton who's coming off, Joe. Steve Clark's coming on.
He's moving slightly gingerly. I don't know whether he's taking a knock or something, but certainly with a view to Sunday, there's no point in taking any chances. Clark will play the anchor role in midfield equally well, probably a little bit more defensively.
On comes Steve Clark. And away goes Eddie Newton. Steve Clark, the 34-year-old from Saltcoats in Scotland. A substitution for the Norwegian Cup winners. Steinberg Johansson coming on for Ole Morten Norst. Steinberg Johansson, an engineer with 4 goals this season. Quite pacey. Quite busy player. Used to be with Lyn Oslo. He's had 5 years at Tromso and scored in the Cup win last season. Beat Bodo Glimt by 2-1 to win their cup. This is Bjorn Johansson. Di Matteo to Petrescu. 20 minutes and under. Di Matteo, look at the space for Wise. It's 10 men Tromso, and Babayaro is there this time. Perfectly weighted in towards a little posse of Italians and offside. Di Matteo, doesn't he cover the ground? He was in there again with Zola and Vialli.
I think you'll find 2 Chelsea players got in each other's way even though they were offside. But you saw the lightning pace of Babayaro, and he wasn't offside. He's moved too quickly even for the linesman.
Certainly wasn't offside, and there's Zola and Di Matteo getting in each other's way.
I think Ruud Gullit will settle for the score now, Jonathan. He's just hoping there's no more injuries.
5-1 to Chelsea. 7-4 they lead on aggregate. It's a little substitute trying to get in on the thick of the action there. Steinberg Johansson. Out wide by the captain, Kramer.
Well, they certainly enjoyed themselves, Tromso, because they normally play in front of 3,000 and 4,000 crowds, and the terrific atmosphere at Stamford Bridge tonight will certainly be a career high for many of these players.
I wonder also if they, after the journey here from the north of Norway and after the emotional strain on them of trying to save their First Division lives in Norway, they beat TRK of Oslo 6-1 on aggregate. I don't know if that's taken a toll on them. In fact, the first game of those relegation playoffs was played indoors in Tromso because of the snow. Played it in an indoor stadium where Chelsea trained while they were over there. Petrescu. Sinclair. Back to Petrescu again. Walking pace now. Chelsea dominant. Sinclair just waiting for something to happen on the edge of the box. Vialli provides that something to Zola. Petrescu breaking to his left-hand side. Steinar Nielsen clearing.
His little balls around the box just haven't quite come off for Zola tonight. There's 1 or 2 passes just gone astray at the last second, but certainly the free kick was worth the admission fee alone.
Zola scored that hurler of a free kick 3 minutes before half-time. That made it 3-1 on the night. Petrescu and Vialli before them, and Leboeuf and another one for Vialli afterwards if you've just turned on. And here's Petrescu again. Tromso down to 10 men. Di Matteo. There's Vialli's burst. Keeper's come out. Vialli, can he turn it back to Zola? And away And Svein Morten Johansson.
Great chance for his hat-trick, a great little ball through, and perhaps he just should have flicked it over the keeper's legs as he came out. Who knows? No, he didn't really have the angle for it, but he's done well to keep it in play.
Chelsea have the short tap corner by Zola to Wise. Vialli's at the far post. Here's Zola. Vialli's there, and making the run into Leboeuf. Zola plays it back to Leboeuf. They can work it out to Babayaro. Wise was waiting and hungry for it. Blocked by Langner. Clark. First contribution, a telling pass. Now telling. Zola from Babayaro. He's gone for the return. Deflected to him by Johansson. Neat turn. Ballet dancing stuff. Leboeuf to Di Matteo. Wise waits again. Here we are once more. Petrushka in the middle. Vialli hat-trick! Gianluca Vialli! Well, what on earth he saw in that dream, I don't know, Joe. He'll maybe tell us afterwards. But Luca Vialli, 2 goals on the ice and snow in Tromso, has turned in a red-hot performance back at Stamford Bridge to melt the hearts of the Tromso defenders. And he has a hat-trick here tonight, and Chelsea have 6.
Again, a typical Chelsea build-up, lots of switching of play, possession, and an absolutely brilliant cross from Eric Wise. Not from Eric Wise, from Little Wisey, just to say, go and head that in.
He got up, headed down perfectly. Vialli has his hat-trick, and Chelsea have 6 goals on the night, and they are 8-4 up on aggregate, 6-1 on the night. And Vialli's hat-trick takes this remarkable Cup Winners' Cup tally of his, also this season, to 6 goals in the competition. No wonder Ruud Gullit says he's his main man for Europe. And he's struggled over the 15 months he's been in English football really to win a regular place. Only 10 appearances this season and 10 goals.
Certainly with Aston Villa's performance and United's great win last night, it's been a great week for British sides in Europe.
Only Liverpool disappointed, and only really with the defeat, despite that brave second leg performance. Sinclair. There's Petrushka and Leboeuf, who will score tonight for the 4th time this season. Dennis Wise to Di Matteo. Certainly, other managers in this competition picking up videos of this will be only too aware after this 6-hit display of Chelsea's power going forward. Leboeuf tries to find Petrushka. Christensen. Jon Johansson is the substitute overrunning him. Away towards Langner. Pressurising Myers. No free kick given. Svein Morten Johansson. Christensen's chip. Beautiful ball. Splendidly played. Vialli showed too much of it. Maybe a little bit weary. And Robin Benson's challenge concedes the throw.
Exhibition sub now, Jonathan, and it's a matter of how many. Chelsea will be thinking is the time to get double figures. That looks a little bit hard, and certainly that would be hard on Tromso's performance.
Wise, that's for Vialli. The record win in Europe, 13-0 against Jeunesse Entourage, and 21-0 on aggregate. The last bid, 7 altogether. Here, he's part of the matchday staff at Stamford Bridge. Chopper Harris is here tonight as well. Here's Dennis Wise. Looks for Petrushka on the side. The chest trap. Was he just pulled back a little bit? Referee waited to see. Clark. Zola. Good control. Babiaro is behind him anyway. Vialli in the middle. Toying with them almost. Let's have a look at that Vialli hat-trick. Clinching goal again. Dennis Wise. Lovely cross. And Luca Vialli completes his hat-trick.
Strikers delight a cross like that, Jonathan. Certainly Dennis Wise has always been a brilliant crosser of the ball from his Wimbledon days, and before that Southampton, but that's certainly a dream.
I don't know if you just picked that up. By the way, the PA announcer here announced to one of the Chelsea fans, you've got a tough decision. Your wife's just gone into labour. What do you do? Dennis Wise finds Zola. Was he going for goal or was he going for the cross?
Yes, he was looking for a party piece. It was a little chippy. He thought he could catch the keeper off his line. And certainly I think had Vialli not already got his hat-trick, he would have been giving his little Italian friend a little bit of stick there, because he was in a great position.
Just couldn't quite make up the ground, Luca Vialli. Substitution for Chelsea. And on will come Bernard Lambourg for Roberto Di Matteo. 10 minutes to go. Sensible substitution with a big London derby coming up on Sunday.
Yes, Ruud Hull's just playing the squad system now. And obviously not having put Hughesy on at this stage, I would think he's got a big part for him on Sunday. But then again, who knows with Ruud?
Here's Petrescu. Petrescu has Sinclair outside him. Just making an announcement in the ground to the Norwegian supporters. 901 have come across. I don't know who the odd one is. On what's going to happen to them at the end of the game. And they've been well received by Chelsea, because the Chelsea supporters in Tromso were magnificently received by the home supporters and the home team. They gave out special bars of Chelsea Tromso chocolate made just for the game to every Chelsea supporter. Nice touch. Lombard sent off twice this season, once for the reserves. And Sinclair again. Petrescu. Zola there. Petrescu, whose goal after 12 minutes set the ball rolling for Chelsea. Sinclair. Count the passes before Chelsea give it away. Wise is straight offside and has fallen on, he's fallen on the ground, and he's having a bit of banter upfield with the Chelsea fans.
Certainly he's had trouble with his footwear tonight, little Dennis Wise, but he didn't when it counted for that brilliant cross. Even at this late stage, Tromso trying to press up and play Chelsea offside, and you wonder why, really, because it's cost them dearly tonight.
Wise to Vialli. Steinar Nilsson comes back at him, but didn't get there before Vialli's shot. He's on fire inside the Tromso penalty area. And certainly that man has been the major difference between these two sides.
He's taking it well on his chest, and he's just leaning back a little bit from a tight angle, but a worthy effort. And Gianluca Vialli could have had 6 goals tonight with a little bit more luck.
He's scored 3, he's had one off the line, he's had an effort in the first half wide, he had a header wide as well when he should have scored. Here's De Hoy.
I think Frank Leboeuf there's just decided he'd wake De Hoy up, because he's had nothing to do at all this half, really, and he gave him a little bit of a dodgy back pass there to say, here, are you still on your toes?
The assistant referee was, and Vialli was caught offside. Chelsea now have 63 goals in 21 home European ties. 3 a game, not bad. 6 attempts on target. Tromso 3. Chelsea have scored on every attempt on target, it would seem. Little flick ball now. Can they get the cross in from Langer? Clark hasn't got it away, and Christensen can't pop it. Rua Christensen arrived late, perhaps had to snatch at it as he looked for his 2nd goal of the season.
They've shown little glimpses of talent around the box, you know. They've been quite lively. A back heel there and a good ball played across the box. They've certainly not been total no-hopers, Tromso.
approaching the last 5 minutes. Langer. Looked for Johansson.
Again, Ruud Gullit showing his extreme professionalism. It would have been easy to give Tromso some kind of run against his old club, but he's decided not to and keep the shape right and keep Vialli on for more goals.
Bernard Lombard. Vialli's onside, just took a deflection off Benson to his keeper. Otherwise, it would perhaps have been 4 up for the second time this season for Luca Vialli. Myers headed down. Clark, not a midfield player, but making the most of it. On board. And Sinclair.
Steve Clark's been a great servant for Chelsea, you know, because he's been here a long time and played in some indifferent Chelsea sides. And he now finds himself a part of the squad, which is certainly the best Chelsea side I've seen since the Peter Osgood days.
Wise. Good run by Stevie Clark. Back to Zola. There's Petrescu. He started the scoring. Down Petrescu. Can he get another? Oh, he's trying to tee up Vialli.
Perhaps the dream's more, Jonathan, because he really should have shot and scored himself twice there, Petrescu. But he seemed intent on putting Vialli in.
Here's Wise. There's Vialli. Somehow got through to him despite Christensen's lunge. Clark to Myers into the last 5 minutes, and Zola turns and runs. Petrescu, will he score this time? Surely! Yes, done, Petrescu! And Chelsea have 7. He started a scoring, Dan Petrescu, and I wonder if he's finished it tonight. On a night when Chelsea have simply outclassed the Norwegian team of Tromso. The first leg in the snow, the second leg on the green grass of home has proved so easy.
I think you can see a little bit of tiredness creeping in now, and the harsh reality is that Tromso know that they're well and truly beaten now, and there could even be time for 1 or 2 more.
Petrescu again underneath the goalkeeper's body. Second time they've scored like that on the night as Chelsea prepare to make another substitution. Flo will be coming on. Let's have another look at it. Great run by Zola, Joe, wasn't it?
It was indeed. The little fella showed all his ability and a great finish, and it looks like Ruud Gullit's heard my comments about the sentimentality, because it looks like Tromso Flo is going to get maybe the last 2 minutes of the game and a chance for a goal.
Petrescu 2, Vialli 3, Zola and Leboeuf from this spot. Here's Dan Petrescu. Oh, he'd love to get a penalty. Vialli's behind him. Vialli looks for Zola. And they play that neatly out. Full credit to Tromso. They haven't stopped trying. There's Berg Johansson and Langer. No one there with him. Andy Myers kept his eyes glued to the ball and his balance. Didn't lunge in. Stole it more than anything else. Mark of a great defender, that. Bobby Moore was possibly the best of all time, nipping in and stealing the ball.
Great reader of the game, made defending look easy.
And the substitution is about to be made. Frank Sinclair gets the high five from Tromso Flo, because kicking the ball out of players makes sure that Flo can come on and Vialli can go off. All you have to do is dream. And Flo gets a run out against his old team. For 2.5 minutes, Tromso Flo scored 19 goals with Tromso in 1995. The goal at Villa Park last weekend would have done him the world of good, Flo.
Yes, he has ability. He's ideally put together, really, for the English league. He's mobile, big, he can head the ball, score a goal, and certainly a player that I was trying to sign at Everton just before I left.
Here's Petrescu. Lombard is outside him. It's cosmopolitan Chelsea side. Clark from Scotland and Leboeuf from France. And Lombard, the 1-2 with Dan Petrescu. Oh, just offside. They would have kept a magnificent night.
Very, very close, you know, and again, Tromso persists with their offside trap, which hasn't served them well at all tonight. And well, he is offside, but it's close.
On board originally from the Ivory Coast. qualified for France, and another World Cup hopeful. Flipped on by Langner. Andy Myers back to goalkeeper Ed de Boy. He's only had a couple of things to deal with, and he had no chance of stopping the Bjorn Johansson goal 7 minutes before the break. At 2-1, Tromso was still in with a shout, perhaps. 2-1 down, that was.
You know, for all the 7 goals as well, Jonathan, I wouldn't think the Tromso keeper has done all that badly. He certainly hasn't flapped us any that would have looked obvious mistakes by him.
Just a couple of the 7 went under his body. Fiercely struck from close in. Lombard, Dennis Wise, getting just offside.
So Ranzerflo praying really for injury time and a chance to score against his old club. But a touch of the ball to start with would be nice.
Well, they'll have to score in the next 15 seconds or so before we hit stoppage time. Langner to Rune Christensen. Kramer. Hofstad was in there, and so too Babayaro. Has control, shielding it well. Still a throw in though to Tromso. Babayaro should be in the World Cup as well next year. Olympic gold medal and a World Cup place before his 19th birthday. Christensen has worked tigerishly over the 2 games. Oh, was it? No, not given off! Tremendous effort. Really hit it with great power, Berg Johansson. And unfortunate there. Well, they had the early shout in the first leg, did Tromso. They have the loudest shot of the game at the end of this second leg, but they crash out. And Chelsea in this second tie, devastating. Dan Petrescu started the ball rolling on 12 minutes. Gianluca Vialli with a devastating hat-trick. His compatriot, Franco Zola, got in the act with a magnificent free kick. Frank Leboeuf also scoring from the penalty spot for Chelsea to cap a marvellous display by him. The big Tromso goalkeeper had little chance to stop the Italians tonight. Zola, Vialli et al. And Chelsea go through magnificently for this man, Rudhulit. He says he has a 10-year dream for Chelsea. The man with a dream from yesterday, Vialli, got it right. And that dream was a hat-trick. And Chelsea are through 7-1 on the night and 9-4 on aggregate.